Welcome back, TwitchCon Amsterdam. Woo! We are warming up here. We had Rocket League all morning, but now it's time for some real action. Hyperia joining me in the booth backstage before we kick off our New World Arena Open. The winners will be flying to San Diego for TwitchCon later on. We've had a chat with some of the players. We've had a chat with some of the developers, and it's been an absolute blast, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been great, because like New World is a game with so much intricacy, and you need to learn so much. It's one of them ones where you play it with 25 tabs open at the same time, and then PvP is an entirely different matter as well. So you constantly need to improve, constantly need to test new builds while also maintaining the status quo and being sure of your team composition. And that's mainly what we're going to be focusing on here today, is that 3v3 arena.
And let's take a very quick look at the bracket and the teams that we have involved today. We've been taking sign-ups all morning, and this is our single elimination bracket for TwitchCon Amsterdam New World Arena Open. We have 2.5 men going head-to-head with Newbies in the first round alongside Gank and Platoon. It's the quarterfinals straight away, Hyperia. It's a lot of pressure to come into the playoff stage.
And there is a third place match, and below them we've got Uncrowned Legends and Never Sucky. Bonzai taking on Firewater Tavern, and I'm going to be keeping a keen eye on Bonzai because we had a chance to chat to the players. Obviously, we don't have full PvP statistics about each and every single player, so it's just, hey, what are you going to be running? What is your team composition? What's going to be strong about it? And stuff like that. And Bonzai seem to be very confident. They seem to be very knowledgeable about what's going on and why their team is so strong.
Really good stuff. Everyone has been so lovely. Shout out to Amazon Game Studios. Everyone we've spoken to from their team has been wonderful and an absolute delight. So big thank you for putting this on, giving something for Hyperia and I to come out and talk to you all about. We have been deep diving into New World for this last week, and my goodness, I did not realize the scale of this game, the magnitude of it. Every single weapon has its own ability tree. Not one, but 2 different ability skill trees for each weapon, of which there are 13 different weapon sets that you can use, and each player will be carrying 2 weapons each. So you've got 4 different skill trees with various combinations. It is something to keep track of.
And that's literally just the PvP part, because I do want to highlight something. That's the PvE. That's something they've been paying a little bit more attention to. A Tempest Heart coming out already, but up next is going to be Barnacles and Black Powder, a new expedition going to be added to the game. Date unknown, but you're just going to have to stay tuned. But in general, they've been upping the standard, also putting more effort into the PvP and giving a roadmap for that. That's the main thing that I love when a game company shows transparency, when they show, hey, this is what we want to do, this is what we're going to deliver. Give us feedback at this point, and
that's
we'll
exactly
continue.
it, right? Is they've been taking feedback from the players. The players are all so involved. They're so knowledgeable. They know what they're talking about. And sometimes you get game companies that don't want to hear it. But this time, what we've got is a games company that's taken on that player feedback. They wanted more PvP. Well, they've got it. 3v3 arenas are live on all New World servers. And just to make it even juicier, PvP has its very own dedicated rewards track where you can get dedicated PvP rewards to make it even more worthwhile to jump into the action. And we're going to see a display of perhaps some of the best 3v3 arena players that New World have to offer.
And they get a chance to duke it out for some swag and that ticket to San Diego. We've been saying it the entire time, but now it's actually the time to play, to show yourselves. Esports that's still incredibly unnoticed if you compare it to the tier 1s, but it's got so much potential. It's a bit tough to understand, so we won't dive too deep into every single specific buff that every single ability gives, but there's a ton, and with that PvP arena, you can earn a Zoth Soul, and that's going to be the new PvP currency, and it's going to increase your progress. You can just add that to the reward track and continuously progressively get more.
So bringing it back to the tournament, that we are seeing today. We have a new weapon in the game. It's called the Void Gauntlet. I've already spoken to a couple of players who are running Void Gauntlets. I think they're going to be quite popular today. They do have some cool abilities, but what I really want to discuss right now, Hyperia, is healers. Because it is a real split down the community, as far as I can tell, talking to players of New World as to whether or not a healer is a necessary part of a comp in the arena. I've been hearing total opposites from different people, polar opposites. Some people saying you absolutely need a healer, otherwise a team with a healer is just going to decimate everyone. Expect everyone to be playing a healer. And I've had other people say, nah, healers aren't very good in arena, just play a tank and 2 DPSs.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are we going to see today?
I think in general, I want to keep it in the air. I feel like durable, it depends on your team composition, because if you have durable team composition, you need that healer in there to extend your lifetime. But today, because there's no anti-heals, you need to have a healer, because you're going to be having big heals the entire way through. Pair that up with a tank and somebody to deliver some DPS. That is exactly the comp that you want to go for. But another thing that initially I heard a lot about, and a lot of people actually complaining about the strength of it, was the fire staff. And now I haven't seen anybody run it here today.
The fire staff is such. Do you know what I thought? Fire staff Ice Gauntlet was going to be the most prominent comp. Like I haven't seen a single build yet of fire staff Ice Gauntlet, and I don't know where it's gone. I don't know. Maybe I've just been getting bad intel. Maybe I've been speaking to the wrong players, Hyperia.
They've just been giving you the runaround, completely neglecting your progress to knowledgeableness. That's the word now, knowledgeableness.
I appreciate that.
But, you know, Ice Gauntlet is something that we are going to be seeing a lot of today, because the control that you can exert with that Ice Gauntlet is so great. The Ice Shower to slow them down, the chill wind.
Ice Spike is one of my favorite moves to see.
Oh.
It just, like, it's so visual and it's so fun watching people just get torn apart by this high damage move. The spikes popping out of the ground. Ice Storm's an interesting one, but I really love Ice Pylon. It brings me back to my Skyrim days of being able to conjure elementals and just being able to put down an automated ice ballista, basically.
Yeah.
It's what it is. To just fire spikes at people seems hilarious to me.
And you can kind of utilize those two as well. I expect Ice Storm and Ice Pylon to be going hand in hand pretty much, because Ice Storm, they will force them down to one side, because if you get caught in there, you're having a rough time. But then with the Ice Pylon, you're forcing them into that one area, and it will start shooting away. We're going to see so many combinations. And then, of course, also with all the debuffs that's going to be happening with that Void Gauntlet. It's going to be a wild ride. Many abilities, many new things, and we'll try and bring it to you as clearly as we can.
It's so much to keep track of, and particularly in Arena. I mean, I think, you know, you're at TwitchCon, you're at the LAN stage, there's a good chance you've played an MMO before, and you know how it is. You get into the swing of it, you take your time, it takes 50 or 100 hours before you even start to understand, and then everything starts to fall into place. But it's an open world, there's more space. It makes more sense when you have a big team, you're going through a long dungeon, everyone's comps are playing out in a way that's easier to follow. But in Arena, it's like 2 minutes, 3v3, go. Abilities flying everywhere, people dying, people being healed. You don't know who's got a debuff, who's got what perk on which. It's so much in such a condensed game format. And I feel like that chaos just makes it so much fun to watch.
Yeah, the chaos, because you need to still see the trees through the woods at some point. You still need to very much understand what's actually going on, but you'll see stuff flying, and everyone in the crowd, I want to get a round of applause for the players already on the stage. If you're excited for New World, give it up! Let's go, Amsterdam!
Beautiful crowd. Give us a wave. You're on screen.
Yeah. Wave, everybody, to the camera. Yes, love that.
Thank you.
They put the most handsome man up front, I see.
Oh, beautiful. I'm going to be stealing that hat in a minute. He'll never see me.
Why are you stealing everything? Come on. You're a menace.
I don't know. Look, the kleptomania gets the best of me from time to time. It's just a very attractive hat. I don't know what to say to you, Hyperia. This is going to be extremely intense. In case you didn't hear, the winners of this tournament will be getting flights hotels and tickets to TwitchCon San Diego. We've spoken to some of the players, and they are nervous.
Oh, yeah. I think my favorite interaction was talking to someone and asking whether they're more into PvP or the arena, or PvE and the arena. And he was like, what's arena? So yeah, I've got great confidence for that team. But still, hey, you might be able to pull through with the experienced players kind of being diminished a little bit in capacity because there are certain availabilities that are just not there.
What's your favorite weapon so far?
I quite like the blunderbuss.
That is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I've seen someone is running it as well.
Yeah, the burst in it actually makes it quite fruitful. I thought initially as well the claw shot involved with it could be a very good one in arena, because with the claw shot you'll pull your opponent towards you and you're able to DPS him out, but I feel like the range on that claw shot might not be good enough to actually be viable, and especially with the other abilities, it doesn't really combine with any of the others, so you want that combination and have that instant reload within 3 seconds.
I mean, it's good to have those containment skills with the blunderbuss. There's a lot you can do to just really slow people down. And not just that, but you really disrupt their flow. And if you get that break in your mental game where you're like, what's going on? Why have I been pulled halfway across the arena? I'm scared. Mum, please help me. Then, especially in a 3v3 mode with such a short time limit, things can go from close to wiped very, very fast.
And that's also what the players are kind of expecting. They're either expecting one to fall incredibly early due to the heavy amount of DPS, due to there being no anti-heals, or they're expecting the fire to close around them slowly but surely and force them down into that center. We're going to have to figure that one out, and that is another incredibly exciting part about this, is that we don't exactly know, and now you have to adapt on the spot. Okay, you want certain abilities, they're not there. Good luck to improve.
Taking a look at those gorgeous ViewSonic monitors. ViewSonic, of course, one of our 4 sponsors here on the land stage at TwitchCon Amsterdam. See that Case King logo on the chair as well. I love that. So subtle, but so fresh, looking clean. And bottom left, as the camera pans around, what is that on the desk? It's some sort of box, but it's so small. I don't know. It doesn't look like a PlayStation.
There's a skull on it as well. But
it's changing color. That's really cool.
I think that's the PC, mate. Isn't that
that
the
can't
nut?
be a PC. A desktop. That's like a laptop. That's like a mini. That's got to be something.
Where's the folding part? How can you fold that out?
I'm just saying, there's no way there's a whole desktop in there, sure.
Yeah, I've seen someone pick that up with one hand as well. Be like, yeah, do we need this still? You're holding an entire PC in your hand.
Oh my goodness, terrifying. But what a piece of kit that is. The Intel NUC, a full desktop inside something that would fit in a backpack. Incredible work from Intel, and that glorious Razer headset looking so good on everyone on stage. Very grateful, of course, to our sponsors for allowing us to come out and put on such a fun show for such a fun crowd. Thank you so much for your energy. You are feeding Hyperia and myself backstage. Giving all the waves to the camera as well. We see all of them, so make sure you do interact with us.
We're still hanging up above. And we can't forget, of course, the most important one, arguably, because gaming while standing up is pretty hard. Case King, sponsors of the chairs, impeccable chairs. We've been sitting on them the entire day. And I'm still sitting lovely.
They're cozy.
They're incredibly cozy, and we get to sit close together as well. But the action is going to be underway as soon as possible. As you see, some players are still in that main menu, but we are going to get that arena, and I'm so excited here, Elliot.
It's going to be so much fun. We have a single elimination bracket. I believe we have 8 teams. We saw the bracket just a moment ago. But why don't we bring that up again, just for anyone who may have arrived in the crowd recently, and take a look at the teams that we're going to have on stage today, alongside the people playing over in the LAN area. We've got 2.5 men going head-to-head with Newbies, and Gank going head-to-head with Platoon, Hyperia.
And there's so many insane teams, and I feel like this first round is going to tell us an entire book worth of information. Who are going to be the strong contenders? Who are going to perhaps struggle a little bit more in this single elimination bracket? There's no second chances. You can't try and switch it around. You need to pop off, and You need to have a good composition that works against everything, basically, because you won't have that information going into it.
Uncrowned Legends going head-to-head with Neversucky, and Bonzai going head-to-head with Firewater Tavern. I have spoken to both of those final two teams, actually, and very, very lovely people. I'm enjoying the energy out of everyone we have playing today. Bonzai, I was going to talk about their run, their builds, but I think that would probably be cheating. People can hear us. I don't want to give anything away, but I am excited to see what these teams have to offer. They're not our first two teams on stage. I'm really excited. This first game, going to get kicked off shortly. Must be nerve-wracking.
Oh, absolutely. Especially because with other esports, you always have, hey, yeah, you probably played on the stage there before. This time, it's a newer game mode that you perhaps not fully grasped, and now you have to play in front of people, in front of an entire convention center while on a stage. There's so many nerves, and you could be misclicking. It might seem easy, but to hit your shots properly is actually incredibly hard. And if you miss just one piece of the combo, and it makes the combo 10 times weaker, but also you could be preparing yourself for a world of trouble when you're caught out of position.
There's so much to set up as well. In case you didn't realize, they're not on their own comps. They didn't get to just sign in and be familiar with everything. Each one of these players was logged in to a special server where lined up for them was a set, a max level character and a set of different items, and they had to choose their comp, their builds, their every single item, their jewelry, which perks to put on, which attributes to funnel points into, and they've all had to set up a brand new character ready for today's tournament. That in itself would probably take me most of the afternoon.
Yeah. I mean, just trying to figure out every single attribute.
slot.
Yeah, it's going to be rough, but I do love that that is the case, right? Because as soon as you have people coming in with their own builds, there's a massive difference between somebody who just entered level 60 and somebody who's been there and grinding those dungeons time and time again. And they're going to have the perfect setup, exactly what they want for PvP. But the Shuriken heals, one part of Arena that has been added, and a piece that everybody has on their gear. It was 1% heals every single time you evade an attack in an arena. There's so much evading, there's so much chaos going on, and you continuously need to be aware of your surrounding while also performing every single move to the perfection. It's going to be a wild ride, and honestly, I feel like the Ice Gauntlet might be able to get some reprieve. I feel like we're going to see a lot of stunning, a lot of evading, and making sure that people stay away and are able to get in and get out quickly, which is also why I feel like the Rapier is going to be one of those very proficient utilizations, especially with the Grayscale. I feel like everybody who has the Rapier doesn't run it for the blood skills. They go for the Grace Tree, the evade, the flesh, the riposte. It brings a brilliant work of action, and honestly, the piece that you're able to portray, because if you're in a sticky situation that I was just talking about, you might miss a button. You can pull out that Rapier, get that riposte going, and counterattack them.
So much to think about. It's absolutely unbelievable.
This was just my entire time of chatting was literally just about the Rapier, just about one skill tree, and that's how intricate this is going to be for everybody watching as well.
Unbelievable. I mean, follow along at home. Honestly, Dan said this is the sort of game you play with 25 tabs open. If you're only using 25 different tabs, I'm impressed. You're already a very, very high level for me.
It's an open world game. You still need to be able to actually run it.
Oh my goodness.
Oregon needs to have a massive, or not even massive, apparently, you don't need a massive PC anymore with the nut coming in, but you at least need a very decent PC to run, and Chrome tabs, because they gobble up that RAM.
The Rapier going to be incredibly important. I mean, you touched on this moments ago, but especially for our lighter builds, our mages and things like that, when you need to be able to get out of dodge quickly, Rapier and certain particular abilities in it, for example, evade, very useful, obviously riposte, but flesh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm going to go with it though. Flesh, really, really important to get out when you need to, because it lunges quite some distance away from the... So if you're the healer, you're getting ganked, basically. You need to be able to get out quickly, and that's when you swap and pull out the Rapier. But First up, speaking of Gank, we've got Gank up on stage. That is one of the teams, probably the ones who just turned their heads to the screen when I said their name. Gank, give us a wave if you can hear us. Oh,
I don't think they can.
I don't think they can either now.
Oh, wow.
We could talk smack about them. They wouldn't know.
We're getting egoed by Gank.
Maybe we won't get egoed by the newbies. Can the newbies hear us? Newbies are on stage. They're going to be playing against Gank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a single elimination playoff bracket. These will be best of 5 matches. That means it was the first team to win 3 fights in the arena will progress to the next round, and the losers will be banned from TwitchCon for life.
Ooh, okay. We're doing that here as well?
We are.
Or we're being a little bit
ruthless. I'm ruthless.
Okay, fair enough. But the life staff, that is something I do want to touch upon more because I feel like heals, they are going to be the making factor. A durable build right here, I think is going to be better than just that raw DPS because you can get bursted down so quickly, and a lot of the abilities actually cater towards bursting down opponents, getting them as soon as they're below 50% health. You'll also get that 50% increase in your damage as well, thus getting them down as soon as possible, which does mean the healer has to be on point with the sacred ground, making sure that they can heal their opponents or heal their teammates up as soon as possible.
Divine Embrace. I think we'll be seeing quite a bit of that as well from our healers. Didn't used to be considered an amazing ability, but has been improved with the most recent patch. And it's a tough one because there are so many different things to talk about, so many things to consider. I mean, there are some players here who've never played in the arena before, Dan.
Yeah.
When a game is this complicated, how do you have the nerve, the audacity to step up and say, I'm going to do this?
Listening to being able to win 2 tickets or tickets for the entire team to San Diego, the flight paid for, hotel paid for, that would motivate me.
I would be willing to bet that against being banned from TwitchCon for it.
Absolutely, yeah, no, of course. And that is also something I wanted to touch upon because New World was a very popular game. And we've got some players now coming back due to the PvP element of it, but they are running older builds. And I saw one, I'm not obviously going to name their name, but they were running a Hatchet, but not the entire Berserker lineup, which is usually what you end up seeing. Instead, he's got Infected Throw in there.
Really?
I'm not too sure whether that is really the way to go to mug off one of the Berserker skills because they all work so well together. I feel like Hatchet is, together with Rapier, one of the only ones where you go entirely one particular tree.
I genuinely have never seen someone use a Hatchet without going full Berserker run. And this is one of the things that I'm so interested in today, is to see how each one of these players sets up their build. I've already seen a lot of things that I wasn't expecting, and that is really just the tip of the iceberg.
Yep, it's just the begin. And honestly, something we haven't even touched upon are those healing potions, are all of that kind of stuff. And the food that you get into the arena as well, you need to take so much into account. We can keep on iterating it, but in the end, we just kind of want to get down to the action. And right here, we already see a slight bit of a build here.
I mean, you're getting a glimpse of just how complicated this is. Got to get all your consumables in. You can eat 1 bit of food in the pre-round, and that will help buff one of the specific attributes that you need for your build. We're ready to go. 28 seconds on the clock, and you can feel the nerves building here. The players can't stand still. Let's take a look at their builds. I believe we do indeed have a Lifestaff Rapier here. Classic build from 420 Airlines. What a name. Absolutely fantastic. Flying high in the clouds. I guess that's what the Vapor is inside the arena.
Absolutely. And right here, TwitchCon Amsterdam. We've got New World, and we have got an arena match that started and already popping off with that healing pulse. They're actually going in quickly. Oh, it seems like there's something going on here with people not entirely being there. They're going all very individual with their Ice Tower and immediately entombing and wanting to get out of that damage range.
Entomb, such a valuable part of the Ice Gauntlet build. And we're trying to see the escape with the Rapier, but this light build is so vulnerable, just being shut down by the Spear. manages to make it out of dodge. And that's that Flesh that I was talking about, able to create some space back behind a pillar, get some hit points back. It's 3 versus 2 right now. Newbies versus 2.5 men. Sorry about that. I thought we were going to be seeing Gank, but we are seeing 2.5 men. And a 3v1 only ends one way. Hyperion, the team in blue, Newbies, take the first round.
And they do manage to get it underway. And I already saw a lot of abilities being spammed and trying to get out of the lock that they're applying. But Newbies, they've gotten that first round rather handedly. And I saw 2.5 men be... I feel like 2 of them are disconnected now as well. If you look at the icons up at the top, is it just the one? Oh, no.
Not what you want to see. There may well be some technical issues that we have to sort out here. We're calling it a warm-up. That's what's happening here. The players needed a chance. There's no double elimination bracket, so we're going to give them the warm-up just there. Hopefully, they are nice and warm. See the Sunderlad there walking around on stage, looking very flashy indeed. Directing traffic on the land stage. Oh, and the return of the Mac. Big Mac with the MacBook in hand as well. Just really repping that Mac brand.
We're sponsored by Nuck. Nuck is superior, however.
Of course it is. Look at the size of it. It is a thing of beauty. A full desktop inside something that's smaller than a games console.
I feel like if you go even a step further, you could paste a monitor on the side of the Nuck and bring it along, carry it on one arm, kind of like a really decks out gadget, you know, one of them futuristic ones.
Oh my goodness, but the screen would be so wide and small.
It'd be funny
and
though.
It like pops out of it.
It'd be heavy as well if you have to hold a PC and a screen out in front of you. Imagine, and then just use it as a watch.
Oh, we've got players dancing on stage now. We love to see that.
Yeah.
Feeling the energy.
Yeah, the warm-up, it showed a little bit of that PvP XP as well in the exhaust sold. There will be plenty of additions, so make sure to keep an eye on the New World Forum as well. There is so much stuff going on. They put out a summer roadmap as well to highlight what they're going to do, and even a roadmap after that. They're really being clear to the fans of, hey, this is what we want to do. This is the direction that we are going to go in.
We did see a healer there in that first game as well. Seeing Ice Gauntlet getting used effectively. And we touched on Entombed there, didn't we? Someone Entombed. And I think that is an ability to make people aware of, because it's one that you might well be seeing quite a bit of.
Ooh, there we go. This
Twitch
time not
TV,
blurred out. But
// Scoom there.
Scoom.
Scoom.
A Scoom!
Chilling out on stage.
Yes, of course. Big chilling. But yeah, continue about Entombed.
Entombed, you'll know when someone entombed. It is one of the more recognizable abilities for newbies like myself, because suddenly the player will become an ice statue. Just out of nowhere, they're being attacked, they're being stabbed in the eye, and then they're an ice statue. And what that does is it allows them to regenerate some mana, and it makes them completely invulnerable for the 10-second or up to 10-second period that they're in that ice statue. So very, very useful.
400% mana regeneration once you're inside, and when... Because obviously, you know, you're going to be trapped in there. Everybody knows of your location. You can actually burst on out there earlier, dealing like 70% of exit damage. It's honestly such a useful ability for people running the Ice Gauntlet, usually a bit more of a fragile build, and this is one of those more life-prolonging abilities here again. Certainly one to be utilized. I feel like in terms of the Ice Gauntlet, that is the more defensive one, while the Ice Storm and Ice Spikes are more zoning and also trying to skedaddle on out at the same time, but Entomb, purely defense.
Yeah, and I love Entombed, especially because if you max it out in that ability tree, the cleansing tomb buff makes it cleanse all debuffs when you actually entomb. So you entomb, you get all your mana back because you're regenerating at 400%, and you cleanse all debuffs. So you're bleeding, you're on fire, bam, entomb, none of those things apply anymore. Very, very useful. Long cooldown though, 30 seconds. And speaking of cooldown, I believe we are going to take a short technical break. We're going to make sure that we get this show on the road so that we can get smoothly through this playoff bracket. So join us in just a few minutes when we'll be back with the TwitchCon Amsterdam New World arena open. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, TwitchCon Amsterdam. What a pleasure it is to be here this weekend. My name's Tofu Elliott, and I am joined once again in the booth by the incomparable Hytheria.
I thought you were going to call me incompetent.
I thought about it.
It crossed my mind, yeah, of course. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to this. Obviously, we already laid out the groundwork. We already mentioned everything that's going to happen and that could happen. Every 14 million, Doctor Strange, ain't nothing on us. We laid everything down. And well, I feel like we're finally going to see whether it's actually true.
It's do or die time. There are only 8 teams in this competition, and one of them will be going to TwitchCon San Diego. I mean, what a prize that is. Woo. I would like to get flown out to TwitchCon San Diego.
A free hotel. Everything that you could so desire. You get there, you get a stay, you get a ticket for TwitchCon.
And I don't think we'd have been able to do this without our incredible sponsors, of course. Intel NUC, the PCs that we've been bragging about all day long. You're seeing a graphic right now. The TwitchCon Amsterdam LAN is powered by the Intel NUC 11 Extreme. Dominate your game, not your desk space. Climb the leaderboard and keep your advantage with the Intel NUC 11 Extreme kit. Powerful performance in an 8L system.
And of course, you've got unleashed performance for new game experiences, power greater abilities, encounter brilliant immersive visuals, and experience incredible game in action that will redefine your gameplay and let you enjoy the latest titles and your favorite esports.
Discreetly small, but built to win. A small package with the powerful CPU, graphics, Wi-Fi, memory, and I/O capabilities found in full gaming desktops. It gives you everything you need to unleash your gaming brilliance without crowding your style.
You can build it how you want. Have it your way. Small, modular, easily customized for extreme gaming experiences, lets you build the rig you've always wanted and quickly upgrade it with more storage, memory, and new graphics.
Learn more at megeco.nl/NUC. That is megeco.nl/NUC.
It's brilliant, honestly. And they're going to be playing on the NUC as well. So you'll be able to test that performance. New World is a pretty heavy game on the PC.
It's a very heavy
game. It's an MMO. It's going to be, by default, a very heavy game. And they're going to be running it with perfection.
It's going to be fantastic. And we cannot wait to jump into this. Our first game, I mean, look, you can see people warming up on stage as we speak. The excitement, the nerves really starting to get to them. And I think someone might actually be streaming live on stage. I mean, it wouldn't be TwitchCon, would it? But we're, oh my God, we're here, newbies.
A musket rapier.
2.5 men. And immediately, we have a musket rapier straight off the back. The Ipex playing a pretty unorthodox build. I was told in advance, in my talks with New World players, that they'd be very surprised if a musket got used.
Let's have a look at the rest then as well. The spear and rapier. Rapier very proficient on this field. It makes a lot of sense. And I'm trying to look behind. I see at least a vault kick in there, but the rest seem to not necessarily be stunning abilities. And we're just waiting until everybody is fully ready. Those 30 seconds, they are feeling like an eternity. We can just skip past to see what everybody's running.
So this is the Ipex. We've already seen him, the rapier musket hit. Oh my goodness. Woo! That is quite an interesting build, isn't it? Hatchet blunderbuss.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be the DPS.
Going for an assassin type build there, just like an in and out glass cannon. And our final one, the ugly Leviathan on 2.5 men. Playing Lifestaff and Spear. That is an interesting combo. Not one I've seen before, but ladies and gentlemen, we are in at a Javelin to kick things off, throwing that Spear across the arena. 2.5 men on the defensive quickly here, Hytheria, trying to stay hidden behind this pillar, but they're bunching up. Might be a good thing here as it allows them all to bundle on top of one of these red players. Oh, Scoom in with the first kill. Ugly Leviathan is down.
I feel like the rest of the team is not going to be holding on for too much longer as they're closing the gap, and 50 HP left that hatchet, saving your life, but only for a brief moment. And Newbies, they are performing like they should here. Quickly out of the gate and utterly demolishing 2.5 men, not even allowing it to go even a little bit longer.
Ooh, and we've got an Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet comp here, coming out of Pengu. U2, or Pengu 2? I don't know how to pronounce that, but he's putting it to good use. Very nice work here. 420 Airlines killing the Ipex. Oh my, and we've got good work here for the team in blue. 2.5 men taking out Newbies once again. They're on match point already.
I was going to say, I feel like this is not going to go on for too much longer because 2.5 men are so dominant. The Ice Gauntlet locking them in. You can already see they're trying to get it there directly again over the top. Chill there landed. They're trying to hold on for dear life, but the DPS is just way too grand now with that blade coming out of the void. That is the round over, and my goodness, 2.5 men, they put themselves on the map.
My word, give it up for 2.5 men, ladies and gentlemen. Our first on-stage victors here at the TwitchCon Amsterdam New World Arena Open. They are through to the semi-finals. And unfortunately, Newbies, well, I mean, they are Newbies, but they're out. They're also out.
Yep, they did say it. They did call themselves Newbies, probably then with a reason that they weren't feeling too confident going into this. But as soon as you start calling yourself Newbies, of course, it's partly just having fun, lighthearted. But you're also setting yourselves up for failure. If you're already not confident coming into this, you're going to be missing those abilities.
Unfortunate stuff there for Newbies, and a very, very quick best of 5, a dominant performance from 2.5 men. We never even got to see the Ring of Fire.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even get past the first minute, past the first 30 seconds. That's how quick it went. That's how confident they were going into this. 2.5 men just zoomed on in there. And I feel like after that first round, they kind of realized, you know what? We get the space. We'll just charge them and cause that chaos.
Chaos is the perfect word for this as well. And you could see what I meant before we started playing when I was talking about just how much you need to be aware of when you come into this. Because there's so much going on, and it can all end so quickly. There's so many abilities flying, different weapons being used, people all over the arena, and you have to keep track of all of that, and somehow 30 seconds, bam, done. Next round, time to go again. What went wrong? What do we change? I don't know. I couldn't follow it all.
Yeah. And that's just in general the vibe in arena. You're going to be faced with way too much stuff, but it seems like 2.5 men, at the start when I spoke to them, they were not necessarily feeling too confident. Kind of coming back players again and struggling to get fully back into it and everything that's new. They wanted to run the Void Gauntlet. They might have been swapping that out for a Fire Staff, but they did end up running the Void Gauntlet in the end, and it paid off.
I would like to apologize. It is a best of 5, but it's not a best of 5 in the one that we just watched. It's a best of 5 best of 5s. So they're going to play, each fight will be a best of 5, and we're going to play a best of 5 of those. Does that make sense to you, High Fury? Are you following that? He's not following it.
Okay, so it's the best of 7 into a best of 6 into a
best of 5.
Tiki-taka. I was trying to confuse them as much as possible.
I think it's working. I think it's working. So essentially, what you just witnessed was one fight, and it's a best of 5. But otherwise, it would be too quick. That was very quick. I want to see the Newbies. Can they come back and do a little bit better?
Looking purely at that first one, I'm thinking we're only going to get 2 more. The way they dominated so early on, like they did not have the durability on the side of the Newbies. They died so incredibly quickly. Now they did go in there and utilize that DPS, went CCing directly off the get-go, and being in their face. I feel like that is one of the struggles parts for Newbies, as soon as you start being in their face.
So the thing that you have to ask here is, you've just got smashed, right? You've lost, and you've lost hard. Now, do you change things to try to counter the dominance that you just suffered under, or do you commit to what you're doing and just try to improve as you go? Because changing it up, although it could be useful if you know what you're doing wrong, can also mean that you're starting from scratch once again, and that can cause more problems than answers.
And I feel like if you're going to be beginner-ish in the game, you want to stick to what's comfortable. Because exploring new builds, you've never really played against it, you've never played it yourself, so you won't know how to get the fullest out of it, and also all the abilities that you need to actually make it work properly. Whereas on the start of 2.5 Men, they were respecking, they were doing everything so quickly, making sure that they've got either a new build or the exact same. But my oh my, they've gotten that first one in 2.5 Men. They look so insanely good right now.
We're looking at the Ipex here, just taking a look at his screen as he goes through his attributes, through his weapon masteries, and maybe mixing things up with the Ice Gauntlet here, changing up the abilities. Do you know what? I didn't see them actually have to use Entombed at all in that one. They never required it.
They've got the Ice Pylon, mate. But you're happy about that one.
Do you know what? I am happy about that one. I would love to see the Ice Pylon get used in a fight. Honestly, it just tickles me. There's something about it that really rubs me the right way. I enjoy the elemental aspect.
Oh, I thought it was just the part of having to sit back and not actually doing anything.
You know, I think that's what it is. Yeah,
yeah, the automation,
honestly,
I love that.
It's very efficient.
Yeah, why do something in 5 minutes when you can spend 2 hours coding it as well, like, and automate it for the one task?
2.5 Men with an unbelievable showing there. They are a team to look out for. Can Newbies bring it back? Maybe with a little bit of crowd support. I can see quite a crowd building up in front of the LAN stage right now. Give us a wave if you can hear us. We appreciate that. I can see you waving. Hello.
People do hear.
We're waving back. You can't see us, but we can see you always.
I'll out him. He wasn't waving. Y'all were waving, but this man, he disrespected y'all.
I can't believe he's done this. I can't believe you've done this, Siberia.
Right there, out in front of the bus.
This isn't happening. I'm sorry.
Oh, he's coming out. He's going to be waving. He's going to be a stage man. Okay. Everybody, please boo him. As soon as he steps out, it's a man with long hair. I mean, you probably will have seen him. I don't even know when he's going to be landing on the stage or where he's even going to go. There we go. Wave back, everybody. Let's go, TwitchCon. Woo! Are we ready for some arenas? Woo! That's what I like to hear. I absolutely love that. The crowd, at least, is in the perfect state right now, and now that needs to transfer into the newbies. Give them some energy. You might be rooting for 2.5 Men, but I personally am rooting for some good New World PvP action. It's one of the newest things added to the game, along with plenty of others that are going to be coming up. And welcome back, Elliot. How was the crowd?
The crowd is vibing. Thank you so much, everyone. You gave me a new lease on life. You gave me some more energy, and I'm hoping that you can give the newbies some energy as well, because they struggled in that first round, and they need you to lift them up. So let's hear it for the newbies, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a round of applause. Give them some energy. Amazing.
What a roar.
Amazing stuff here. We have a fantastic crowd for this Saturday afternoon of New World Arena.
I heard that's the best one at TwitchCon in the entire venue. We've got the best one.
Crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the whole of TwitchCon Amsterdam.
Yeah. Twitch rivals? Nothing.
Nah, I think they're gonna have to prove it to us over the course of these next few games, I fear. I'm not gonna let them off that easy. This crowd has been fantastic, but they can do better. They can definitely do better. 2.5 Men. Great name for a team. Absolutely fantastic. I do enjoy a throwback. Who is the half man? I know, right? That's the question no one on that team wants to answer.
Yeah, I mean, we might be able to ask it at some point. Hopefully. But I love what I was seeing on the side of the newbies, right? Because they were hyping each other up. They were saying, let's go. Okay, let's do this. Let's run it back. It doesn't matter what happened anymore. We are into a new round. Not quite, because the round timer is still counting down.
Take a look over at the newbies build here.
I don't see too many changes.
2.5 Men. I'm struggling with these controls. I'm a bit of a boomer, in case you hadn't noticed.
Oh my, yeah.
I think we've got a team missing maybe from there. We've got 35 seconds to get them in.
We've got one player missing. It's all right. They'll hopefully enter the stage.
Popping off with these abilities right now. Just
they're showing themselves. The beautiful hat there as well. The aesthetic of Scoom. He's looking swaggerlicious. I'm never saying that again.
Swaggerlicious?
Yeah.
Now I think it's your turn to leave.
No, but I'm gonna stay in my hidey hole because I don't want to face anyone after saying swaggerlicious. Like, come on. You know, sometimes you're just disappointed about yourself. You're not able to fact check whatever you're actually putting out and
your brain doesn't connect to your mouth in time.
Yeah, my brain cells trying to work together. Sometimes they're behind a little bit.
It happens. It happens. Both of my brain cells are fully occupied right now with trying to master all of the different abilities in this game. But we do have a disconnect, so we are trying to get everyone back in lobby to proceed as quickly as we can with the rest of this best of 5 New World 3v3 matchup. We're already in the quarterfinals. That's why we kicked things off today, Hyperia, and the pressure of coming in at the playoff stage and being on stage, literally, at LAN, with casters, noise all around you. I mean, it doesn't get much higher pressure than that.
It's going to be incredibly intense, and also for the players that are playing at an opposite end of the bracket. They're going to be duking it out, and we're going to be in for a surprise. See what team have made it through. Obviously, we've got this one coming up rather soon, hopefully. But my, oh my. We just kind of are waiting, and then the rest will have finished up, but it's worth it. It will be worth the wait, absolutely. Yeah,
and it's going to be a few more minutes here, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between and on the outside. Thank you so much for bearing with us. You have made this a fantastic time for me and Hyperia, and I'm sure all the players on the stage. And while we get them sorted out, we're going to throw to a very quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be continuing with this quarterfinal matchup between 2.5 men and newbies. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, TwitchCon Amsterdam, to the LAN stage, where we are hosting the New World Arena 3v3 Open. The winners will be flying to TwitchCon San Diego, and the losers, well, second and third place will be winning some swag. It's going to be pretty cool, but everyone else goes home empty-handed, and if I had my way, they'd all be banned from TwitchCon forever, but I have been told that that's not part of the rule set of this tournament.
That's very menacing of you. Relentless as well. They played, they participated, they put themselves out there, and you're just smacking them down.
I got no time for it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be a loser, don't show up in my booth.
That's what I'm saying. That's what the LAN stage is, where dreams go to die, and where winners are forged and diamonds are forged under pressure. And the pressure of being banned from TwitchCon for life, definitely enough.
Oh, I feel like we've got a fan favorite.
A fan favorite.
I mean,
cheers in the crowd going up. A little bit of a smirk from that player. I wish the players could hear us. I really want to ask them who the half man is.
Apparently they can't.
Oh, we got a thumbs up.
Well, yeah, if they can, who's the half? Yeah, you hear the crowd cheering as soon as the cameras are on them, and that's what you like. But do not forget, also cheer for the newbies, because this is the first round, and the newbies just have been utterly battered. We want to make sure that they at least get a round. I feel like that's the very minimum.
I love it. I love the idea that winning a round makes losing less painful. I almost feel like it's worse. If you get swept, you're like, yeah, we didn't have a chance. But if you win a round, it's like, oh, man, we could have done something. We still lost.
But it's one of them ones where you probably still have that same if you win one round in 3 best-of-5s, you're still probably feeling outclassed, but at least you can take it home and brag, yeah, I won against people who have grinded this game for like 25 million hours.
So we're looking at newbies right now, I believe. Camera left are the newbies. I got a nod from the cameraman. Thank you so much there. And we, of course, have the gorgeous Leonardo DiCaprio stood at the back there, just managing the newbies as they log into the... Oh, that's not... Sorry, I'm hearing in my ear. That's actually Christopher Sunderland, not Leonardo DiCaprio.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like it's an insult to call him Leonardo DiCaprio with the way he looks.
Because Chris is so much more attractive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, a billion times.
A million times, yes.
And
oh, my goodness.
Does Leonardo DiCaprio match admin and make sure that we don't have any tech issues? No.
There's nothing that this man can't do, and I am here for it. It is such a vibe.
It is brilliant. And as soon as the match starts, you can see the pre-game talk. They're probably talking about a strategy right now.
Yeah, I'm reading his lips, and he's saying, I need to use Entomb more. I just need to use Entomb more. That is the clincher right now. Especially cleansing all debuffs. There's a lot of debuffs going down.
Oh, yeah, but a lot of buffs as well. I mean, you see the little thing at the bottom, a full with icons. All of them have some kind of effect, whether it be haste, whether it be health regen, whether it's whatever you can almost think of that you need. You have that in Arena, and you come stand with about 2 of those. But my, oh my, TwitchCon, you see those screens, and that unfortunately means they're not quite into the Arena just yet, but we're getting there as soon as possible.
The tension that is building up right now is palpable. We've already had the first round of this best of 5, and a long break here definitely, I think, is more of a problem for 2.5 Men because they were so in the flow of it. They came out incredibly strong and dominated with some really interesting builds as well. One of them running Void Gauntlet, and the Ois Gauntlet.
Honestly, the Moi, boy.
Sublime. That VGIG build is particularly interesting to me because I love the idea that he's just got a glove on each hand running into the arena against people with swords and great axes. It's just like, bah!
Yeah.
Bah!
Bump him in the face. That's what you want to see.
Pop him on the nose with a cheeky Void Gauntlet.
Give him a straight direct. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but unfortunately, due to some issues, whatever is going on, we have to cut to another short little break. We're going to be back as soon as we can, but we'll see you on the flip side with some amazing 3v3 arena action.
Through the crowd outside the LAN stage. We do have the best crowd, and we definitely have the most patient crowd.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's unfortunate. It is the way that it is, but we do get to have a look into him building again, because there's just some unfortunities, and it seems like he's going life staff and spear.
We've got a healer. We've got a healer on our hands, and this is going to be very interesting. Look, you're getting a behind-the-scenes look at someone building up their weapon masteries, and he's got one more. Oh, he's just going full zoner on the spear.
I mean, the sweep makes sense, and the javelin as well, but what I often see is people going for a Volt Kick instead of Cyclone, because it's, yet again, one of those stunning abilities. Maybe you switch to it now that I've said it, but Volt Kick is a very good spear ability.
Healing skills getting maxed out there as well, heavily funneling points into one of the 2 trees for each of the weapons. Currently looking at Leviathan.
Let's have a gander around as well.
Take
Got the musket rapier. I don't think there's going to be too much change there. Oh no, sword and shield and musket now instead. Okay, so that's a change up for the 1. And the life staff spear still on Leviathan. On the opposite end, still putting in some potions. But they also have a life staff going on here. So the healer probably going to be popping something to keep him safe. Rapier and spear. We're seeing a lot of rapiers, and this might be the one to watch.
The double gauntlet build.
Gauntlets.
I'm really enjoying that. Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet again, once again. Big shout out to the Sunderlad. Thank you very much, bringing us our cups of tea, keeping our throats nice and healed up. That's a health potion right there. 2.5 Men, of course, already 1 round up against the newbies.
Big important change is that my oh my, round 1 is going to be underway. Can 2.5 Men demolish yet again as they're immediately charging on through? Popping a few with the Ice Gauntlet, but up close is Scoom. The rest is just kind of sitting far away, but that rapier, he's already riposted. Not quite actually, but he's got right on in there. You can see that Volt Kick's not being utilized just yet on the Ripex now, however. He will pop it off. And there you go. It's so quick.
That is absolutely astounding. I actually really thought that spelled danger for 2.5 men there, because running in like that to a group of 3, I expected to see him bursted down and in his grave. No such luck for Newbies, though. They lose another round here, and it's a struggle. But let's see what they can do heading into round number 2.
And they're sitting back further now on the side of Newbies, but you can see him getting in close. But directly, the Volt Kick now popping through, and all 3 of them locked into that same exact cabin. And the perforate landed. There is so much damage landed. Newbies, they can't do anything in 2.5 men. They just solo it. This man is Scoom. He's doing it all by himself, it looks like. Scoom! Scoom! Scoom!
With a huge kill at the end there to put 2.5 men 2 rounds up on game point here. Match and series point, because this is now a best of 3. All of our series will be best of 3 to make up for lost time.
Another 1v3. The Void and Ice Gauntlet. He's going to be popping through. Switching to the Void Gauntlet. Disintegrates and gets them into that little trap there as well as he tries to burst them down. Not the most DPS type, but the Void Blade, that certainly does a lot of damage. Trying to get on out. Ice Shower, Wind Blast as well. Everything. The Entome not landed, but the Ripex, he's not going to be holding on for too long, as the rest is going to be diverted away. A quick flesh there as well.
And look at this, just running for his life now, trying to escape. Unfortunately for him, there is no escape. That is going to be all she wrote for the Newbies as the last player falls. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our winners. Give it up for 2.5 men. They are through to the semi-finals.
Securing themselves that top 4 already, making sure that they are there to contend, and they will be able to play in the 3rd round matchup. So, you know, they're looking incredibly solid in that 3rd place, but they still have so much more to go. They want to go to San Diego, of course. That is the ending goal, and they've put a brilliant first step towards it. I'm really curious as to how the bracket looks like, but we're going to keep that a secret for just a little bit, but you can see how confident they were going in by their loans. So with an Ice Gauntlet and a Void Gauntlet, you have a lot of control, but usually you need another DPS like the Rapier to back that up. But the Rapier was impeccable as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we please give a round of applause to the Newbies, stood up on stage, giving us a wave. They have been absolutely superb sports here. Thank you so much, Newbies, for coming up and playing on stage here at TwitchCon Amsterdam. It's been a pleasure to have you, and I hope that you will be back in San Diego, even if you're not getting flown out there courtesy of
New World
Amazon Game Studio, being very generous with this prize.
It's a massive step up. Usually you see a little bit more of a diversion, but this just means extra pressure on whoever it has to get first.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the first on-stage match here at the TwitchCon Amsterdam New World Arena Open. It's a 3v3 tournament to determine who the best New World Arena tournament players are. And I tell you what, 2.5 men are a team to watch through the quarterfinals into the semis, and I hope they have competition soon, because if they can dismantle teams like that continuously, then they're going to be boarding their flight pretty soon.
And they can't get overzealous. They need to keep themselves in check, and I'm afraid that I'm going to send you all to a screen that's a little bit familiar, but this time we're going to hurry up and massively get that underway. We're going to cut to another short little break, but we will see you on the opposite end in a bit.
Crowds on stream! Mum, Dad, give us a wave!
I mean, not just yet, but they will.
You know what? Look, I'm looking at the wrong screen.
Yeah,
okay?
no,
I've got my multi-view up. I'm looking at cameraman walking around. I thought that was what was on screen. I do apologize.
I mean, maybe we should just wave.
We can wave.
Yeah. And we can still see whether you wave back, and I saw nobody waving, so I'm a bit offended. But Either way, everybody watching back from home as well, maybe they wave back, because there's plenty of people watching this 3v3 arena unfold, and understandably so here, Elliot.
And look, we've had our first round done now. The quarterfinals, I do believe, are over. And let's take a look at the bracket to see where things are standing currently and how things are shaping up heading in to this semi-final. We have 2.5 men through in a clean sweep against Newbies. Gank going the distance to that game 3 against HUH. Maybe, huh? I'm not sure.
I feel like it's huh. So we've got Gank and 2.5 men going up against each other. Gank, of course, a very popular MMO term. So I assume they're going to be converging and they're going to be quite experienced. So I'm really looking forward to whatever is going to come up next, because we do have those two teams taking the stage and trying to be proficient. 2.5 men. They knew that Newbies had never played beforehand already. So this time, they need to up the thrusters. I'm curious to see how they're going to be adapting to that.
We still haven't got the results from the other quarterfinals. Last time I went and checked, I know Bonzai were leading Firewater Tavern 2 rounds to 0. And I was talking to Firewater Tavern, and that would have been when this was still best of 5. So I think there is still going to be a best of 5 because they were so deep into that set. But I was talking to Firewater Tavern. They were saying they're going to try and make some changes and just see what they can make happen. But it's a tough one to pull out when you're 2 rounds down and you have to reverse sweep.
Oh, reverse sweeping in any game takes so much mental fortitude and so much mental stamina as well. It is ridiculous. But obviously, the people watching back at home, they're not watching for absolutely nothing. They're, of course, getting the entertaining gameplay. But next to that, there are drops active on any channel streaming New World. And that gives stuff for the newest content updates, such as instruments, fishing rods, summer event tokens. And you have to watch 4 hours. Just watch this show, and you'll have it. You'll have that. Ends August 8th, though. So you need to
make sure you go out and watch some New World live on Twitch before August 8th to grab some very, very cool stuff for the New World summer event. They've got everything, really, haven't they?
I love the instruments, mainly, because what I'm imagining is there is a massive war going on or whatever, or an outpost rush, and somebody's just going to be playing the violin or whatever. It's right next to it.
Absolutely sublime. I'm going to have to give this game even more of a play. I didn't play it before I knew about this gig. I've been deep diving all the way through all of the research. I've been reading about all the abilities, all the perks, talking to players. The community seems absolutely amazing. The game devs, I mean, we've been chatting with them today. They seem awesome. They're taking feedback on board. They're improving the game for the benefit of their community. It's just been an absolute pleasure. What a face.
Oh.
What? Oh, come on.
Questionable.
Look at that.
Oh, zoom in even more. Oh, I love that.
That's max zoom.
But he's also not blinking.
Oh,
this is how you can see it's an MMO player. His eyes are so trained at staring at a screen 24/7. I love this.
Give him a round of applause.
We might distract him with it, but this is impressive.
Blinking. Phenomenal stuff here.
Is he alive still? Somebody check his pulse.
Can we get a stage out? Hey, we got the thumbs up. Oh my goodness, sublime.
Well, as soon as you were talking about the New World community being awesome, I think this is exhibit number A.
Exhibit number A. Fantastic stuff. He still hasn't blinked. I feel like I need to go and spritz his eyes with some water or something. Like, okay, let's look at someone else. Let's look at someone. I feel like we have to let him have this victory. He's
going to be pop.
Oh, 2.5 men already crowd favorites. This is an emerging esport right here. We already have storylines. We already have favorite teams.
Oh, he's got it covered. Yes, of course.
What has this become?
I don't know. It feels like peekaboo with a little kid, and the cameraman is the little kid.
Absolutely sublime. Thank you so much. Hyperia took a sip of his coffee, immediately ejected it through his nose.
I just see those eyes staring above the screen. He won't let up. This is how you can see some resilient man, and I hope it shows in the gameplay that he's just as durable.
No, this is how they lose the semi-finals.
Yeah, his eyes are going to be hurting.
He's just going to be staring at the cameraman the entire time. 2v3 for 2.5 men. That's why it's 2.5 men, because one of their players never looks at the screen.
It just won't stop. I need to compose myself here, but
this is too much.
we saw in the previous one some odd builds, but they were mostly on the side of the newbies. I feel like 2.5 men, they've had properly ironed out builds and making sure that everything works together and fits in smoothly.
Semi-final matchup going to be 2.5 men head-to-head with the team called Gank, who actually had to go all the way through to game number 3, eventually winning 2-1 over Huh.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know exactly how good Huh is at the game, but the fact that they went the distance, that does pleasure me a ton. Looking at this, though, we saw a ton of rapiers. I wasn't expecting this many rapiers.
Yeah, do you know what? I came into this thinking that a rapier was for a very specific kind of build. I was expecting to see bow rapier. I was expecting to see life staff rapier. I wasn't expecting to see rapiers used just with everything all the time. I mean, it is an interesting choice because it provides so much extra mobility and a fantastic way to get out of dodge in tight situations. But is it that good?
I feel like it's one of those ones that it's rather easily attainable skill ceiling, where you're able to utilize, because rapier, while it's absolutely phenomenal, it is a lot of dodging. It is a lot of getting out of sticky situations. And in arena, continuously being under that pressure, that is kind of what you want, to be able to get out quickly. And we see another rapier. It's paired with the life staff. That makes a ton more sense.
Yeah, to me, that makes a lot of sense. We didn't really get a chance to see the weapon masteries on this player. But we are going to see some people building up their characters on stage here, which is going to provide quite a lot of context. And honestly, you're just going to see how much goes into this kind of character creation. It takes so much thought, so much knowledge about what goes with what. Everything has its harmonies, has its synergies, and even if you're playing really well, if you're playing well but you don't have a synergistic build, and you're going against a team that's playing well but knows all the synergies and are playing with everything really properly linked up, you're going to lose. And it is like that you can actually influence the outcome of the game with so much pre-planning, with the intelligence and the game-specific knowledge that goes into everything that happens before the arena. And then you get into the arena, and it is carnage.
Oh, yeah.
2 minutes of chaos, and then one team walks out alive, and the other. It's devastating, isn't it? So much planning down the drain.
Yeah, because they're already working on it, utilizing all those attribute points as well. An interesting fact here on the player that we were just watching, he's at 279 focus, which is a bit of an odd number to me, because something that we haven't talked about at all, but with dexterity, with strength, with intelligence, with focus and constitution, those are the 5. They all have specific bonuses at 50, 100, etc. So having 279, as we can see right here, he's got perfectly in 250, that's it. I'm spending the rest on something else, and it feels like a bit of an overcommit to fully spend it on something that only just heals just a tad.
Well, perhaps, but then perhaps it is just that they got to where they wanted with both constitution and focus, and then they're like, look, I got extra points. There's no point dumping them in dex, strength, or intelligence because I'm not using anything that does it. So just chuck them in, and it seems like a bit of a random number, but although you're not going to hit the next 50, you're not going to hit the next set of bonuses, you are still increasing the output of those focus weapons. And when you're a healer especially, if you can be increasing it even marginally, that's going to be used. Your team are going to thank you.
And we see here as well, the Ice Gauntlet and Void Gauntlet, they are pairing up again, and that seems to be such a special combination right into the meta as soon as the Void Gauntlet got introduced. And it makes sense, to be fair. I assume that he's going to be running Void Blade as well to get some of that healing back. But Well, that's what usually happens when a new weapon or new anything is introduced into whatever game. Doesn't matter which one you're talking about. They're going to make it a little bit stronger than the rest of the meta because they want to have people adapt to it. Because otherwise, they're going to stick to their old and trusted instead of experimenting with stuff new.
I was talking to some of the players in between rounds there, and I was talking to one person in particular. They said, look, my team, we're running just the standard tank, DPS, healer. That's what we thought was going to be the standard coming in, but we've lost both of our opening rounds here. Everyone's just running Void Gauntlet, Ice Gauntlet, and we don't know what to do about it. So clearly, really throwing a bit of chaos into the mix today, this IG-VG combo, and it is working a charm for the people utilizing it.
And the Void Blade. I'll give the exact description. I mean, it's incredibly long, but basically it deals 150% weapon damage in the second attack. The first one dealing 100, and at the same time, you're reducing a damage absorption. You are adapting so much at just the blade, and there's stuff added onto it that makes you fortified, so it gives a lot of buffs in the process as well, and that paired usually with an Essence Rupture or an Oblivion perhaps. I mean, we saw Petrifying Scream as well, and those are all a bit of a stunning-ish, at least a debuff.
You know, I didn't expect to see as many spears as we've seen so far either. Really interesting combination. I think I've seen some like spear rapier looking around as well, which just seems really odd to me. I didn't anticipate seeing that coming in here today. This, exactly what I expected to see. That Life Staff rapier combo. Void Gauntlet, Ice Gauntlet. Seems like a really strong one. We're not seeing an Ice Pylon though, Hytheria, and that's, honestly, I'm sad. I want to see an Ice Pylon before today is out.
I understand it. The Ice Pylon is phenomenal. I mean, you already got one, but they were not really able to use it. Oh, wow. This is just rude. Fleshing through the innocent animal. But running Petrifying Scream and Void Blade on the Void Gauntlet, which is something we just saw. Life Staff, Sacred Ground. It's looking decent. This is looking a lot more ironed out. I've got no question marks here at all.
Do you think... I want to see what the other team is playing. Because, yeah, we've seen a lot of 2.5 men. I want to see what are they going up against right now. And are we going to see healers take center stage here at all? Are we going to see them step up and provide something tangible? Because at the moment, all we've seen is rounds that are over before you know it. It's just so quick. It's chaos, carnage, dive straight in, and players are dying left, right, and center. But now that we're in the semifinals, we expect to see players with a little bit more experience, a little bit more composure, players who have been there, done that. And now is when we're going to see the rounds start to extend. It's going to be a little bit more of a battle of attrition. We're going to see healers start to come in more handy, and that's when the tactical gameplay really shines.
Yeah, you need to coordinate so well because you're dodging all the abilities utilized by your opponent, hiding behind the little pillar, because on opposite ends, both sides have a pillar, and they utilize that heavily, hiding behind it, moving a ring around the rosy, and then they try and DPS someone down. Then they all of a sudden go quickly on an opponent if they overstep, and it's just waiting for that tiny opening. Spot it and utilize it while also communicating it. It gets incredibly tight, but I'm really looking forward to it. The first one was a bit of a warm-up for us as well, Elliot, but I feel like our throats are going to be living it out with this one.
We are very much ready to get going. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the semi-final of the TwitchCon Amsterdam New World 3v3 Arena Open. A huge matchup here between Gank and 2.5 men.
Not quite. It's close. It's close, but I feel like, you know, at some point, we can't tease them as much. But there might be some issues on the opposite end, because this was another incredibly quick round, so I can't assume anything going on. We're going to extend it for a little bit longer. It will be all right. We'll get to the action. There's no worry. We have a lot of information now already to try and talk about it, and especially the rapier and the life staff. Life staff is one of the ones that we haven't really highlighted that much being utilized, so it's It's something that you really need to get a grip of, and with that focus in there, really make it a lot stronger.
Yeah, I do apologize about that, everyone. We just had a player who failed to get into the lobby, so we're going to be remaking it, and then hopefully we'll be able to get this underway. But such an important matchup here. Let's give it a bit of context. We've spoken a lot about San Diego. These players are now within touching distance. 3 rounds, potentially, between them and the grand final. I mean, it is so close here. And no double elimination, right? We're used to seeing a lot of double elimination brackets, right? Where teams, you can lose a series. It's okay. Don't worry about it too much. You will have another chance. But I told you, we are ruthless here on the LAN stage. And that means that there are no second chances. You lose, you die, you're going home empty-handed.
I feel like it fits with the entire New World aesthetic, though. No second chances, no nothing. You have to show up in the moment and make it work. And that's exactly what the players are going to be doing. I did have a tiny look at the opposite lineup, and I saw at least a healer in there. So at least we can constitute that there are going to be a little bit of a prolonged match here with those healers utilizing DPS. Probably get on in there, do a bit of damage, and get back out. See whether you can catch someone off guard. Perhaps flesh on in there and then evade out. There's a lot of possibilities going on.
And of course, this extended break gives the players a chance to really tweak all of their setups to perfection. We're seeing, of course, gems being used here. Each gem having its own set of perks, its own bonuses.
Do you reckon that because they did just somewhat, because one player didn't get into the lobby and they did get a bit of information, do you think they're adapting the gems right now to have a better chance against the opponents?
That is sneaky. That is very, very sly. And that is exactly the kind of brainwave that you need to be able to set up a dominant run, because it is about pre-planning here. Fail to prepare and prepare to fail. I believe a teacher told me that at some point in my life, and I'm not doing very well. But
yeah, no. I mean, my teacher always used to tell me as well. Yeah, you can do better than you currently are. So I don't want to.
Well, but before we continue with our backstories, I think these two teams are about to show us what really can happen in terms of an esport here with New World. We've already got narratives, we've got storylines, we've got fan favorites, interactions with the camera, and now we're going to see what happens when two teams who both know what they're doing go head to head in a clash of kings to see who will emerge victorious and make their way through to that first grand final opening.
And for those team fights that are going to be going on, the Void Gauntlet, that is where it comes into play. Oblivion, it spawns a radius around you, decreasing enemies, debuffing them while empowering and getting extra weapon damage to your team, and also a stamina per second boost. So there's so much going on to be inside that Oblivion circle, and you can try and play the field with that and kind of section them off in the moment.
And I think we saw a lot of that from 2.5 Men before, running in, dropping that Oblivion, using the Void Blade as well. And we didn't see much of that thrust attack with the Void Blade, but you don't really need it, because if you hit twice in a row, that second attack is going to start dealing disintegration. And what that's going to do is it's going to deal weapon damage, but it's also going to reduce damage absorption for that enemy character. So that character then is inside an Oblivion circle, so they're already suffering from that. And then they have reduced damage absorption as well. You've got the buff coming from Oblivion for the attacking team. It all stacks up so quickly. And you have to be so aware of all of these things instantaneously to be able to adapt your gameplay. I'm so impressed by how just cognizant of so many things these players are.
And that's a pivotal part of the Void Blade, but Leeching Blade is so important to have as an attribute there, because every single time you have a successful hit, it will heal for 5%. So if you're ever low, just pop out that Void Blade and get you back. You don't even necessarily need the healer. The healer can focus on someone else. But with 20 seconds remaining, this round is going to start rather rapidly, and I am looking forward to it heavily.
Let's take a scan through the players here. I'm very excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. 2.5 men getting ready to go. We're going to take the perspective of Rawberry here on Gank, running in, spear and hatchet.
Yeah. Going for that healer directly. He wants to get him off.
Very smart.
And the riposte actually landed by the healer, and now he's still trying to chase him down. He's using everything in that Berserker class, the hatchet, and now the perforate there. He's just using everything. The sweep, not quite, though.
Yeah, really, really nice use of the perforate there, but they have managed to protect their healer quite effectively. Oh, lots of damage getting done here. The Roll's trying to dodge out of it, manages to drop a potion and heal up a little bit, and we still have no kills yet in this game. What a sensational performance from both of these teams. Things really starting to heat up.
Oh, he was out of stamina, but he just got a heal, so he's still holding on. But Scoom, he's currently hunting him down. The spear being utilized and sweeping him off the ground. Getting on out of there. Berserker might be happening soon, and indeed he popped the Berserker, neglecting all debuffs, and now directly utilizing that hatchet, switching to the perforate on the spear. Vault kick there as well, or sorry, that's the sweep. Scoom hiding behind, but nobody faltering just yet.
No one down. 50 seconds until the Ring of Fire closes, and poison starting to permeate through the arena now, which will lessen the effectiveness of any healing that is done, which means that these DPS characters need to start taking out opponents. We can't be relying on their healers forever. Scoom doing very, very well here, but he is facing a lot of energy coming out of Rawberry, chasing him, trying to get him down, utilizing that perforate to do so much damage, but inside the Oblivion, need to make sure that they are staying away from the edge, because in 10 seconds time, Hyperia, that Ring of Fire is going to close.
He's out of stamina, and luckily he's got a teammate up close, but you can see he's getting slower and slower, and Scoom, he managed to find that kill. He's wanting more Ice Tombing with that Ice Gauntlet, now switching to the Void Blade, perhaps getting that out. No, he just Oblivions and tries to get Scoom down, but Scoom, he's so durable. He's not faltering. He's not really made any mistakes, but it's a 2-1-3 right now, and that gets so rough. You quickly need to get rid of someone.
It's already 2-2. It was a 2v3, and I thought that might be it, but 2.5 men have also lost a player. There goes their healer. Oh my word, Gank struggling right now. Only one player left in the game.
Scoom. He's not really got anything to try and hold on, try and gain that life with. No health potions either. He's just going to have to go perforate, skewer everything, anything to burst him down, but he's got nothing, and it's Carrax who gets rid of the final opponent. But this is what you can expect out of New World Esports.
Absolutely sublime. And I got a little bit confused. I got a bit disoriented there. I said Gank only had one player, and that was 2.5 men. Gank actually take the first round of the first fight here in this semi-final matchup, and my goodness, that was incredibly close. That went the full distance.
And I feel like we don't even necessarily have to go the full distance, because there are so many team fights already going on. There's somebody already falling, or Airlines, his durability, but he's right back. He's already there again. And Carrax, my goodness, he's getting hammered down here by the skewer, the perforate now as well. If you land all three, that gives an extra little bonus. But Carrax, he's getting so close to being taken out, but meanwhile, he's overstepping. And now you need to be aware, Scoom, he oversteps his mark.
Wow. We had a round one that went literally as long as it could have gone, and a round two that was over inside the first minute, changing just like that. The confidence coming out of Gank right now, unparalleled. 2.5 men. A lot of adaptations to be made here.
They're still trying to hold on. Gank down 0-2. This is looking like a decent start. Scoom, he's getting dealt a lot of damage. I mean, Gank, they need to step it up here. With Chill, not landed quite, but there's nothing really going on just now. Just feeling out, and this is the burst that we were talking about. All of a sudden trying to catch your opponent off guard.
Gank doing great work there to break through that Ice Tomb, make sure that that player cannot regenerate as much mana as he would have liked. Just going to town right now with this Void Gauntlet. There comes the Void Blade. Oh, and he's doing great work with it now. And there goes Pengu. It's now a 3v2 once again. Gank absolutely dominating right now, but can they keep this 3 versus 2 advantage alive? They really, really want to. A player advantage in the arena is just absolutely massive. It makes such a big difference to be a man up, and this might well be the end of Skoom here as well, but he's managed to evade. He's gotten out of dodge. Unbelievable evasion from that player.
And as Skoom gone, that's going to be the end of it. Only the healer left. And with Skoom taken out, it was such a smart position by Felzar to go onto the healer, and now they've taken a 3-0 sweep. They've done immaculate work, but he's recognized, okay, it's a 2-on-3. If I leave the healer alive, Skoom might just be able to burst someone down. I need to step away from the fight and go on damage the healer.
Outstanding work there from Gank and 2.5 men. They have some talking to do. You can see them. They're discussing, what do we need to do right now? Are we just going to get back into our game plan, our original game plan, and just crack on? Or do we try and mix it up? Do we try to counter what they are putting down? What would you do in this situation?
I'd say stick to the plan. I mean, you saw that first round. That was incredibly close. It just seems to fall apart due to players quickly falling and not necessarily having a clue of how to recover from such a position. So you really need to stay focused, keep your head in the game, because they just lost it. There's no way you have such a close first round where it comes down to the wire, literally the pillars being consumed in the fire, and then you only barely lose. There's no way that is speaking bad of anything you were already doing. The 2 rounds after, you were just flustered.
Well, this is a best-of-3 series, which means Gank are now series point up. If they win this best-of-5 round, they will be going to the grand finals, and 2.5 men will be going home.
Yeah, this is it. You need to be performing here. I mean, you might have that 3rd place match, but you don't want to be competing for that. You don't want to compete for 3rd place. You want to compete to go to San Diego. That's what is riding on this. And the spear is being continued to utilize. There's no differential. Still the sweep, the perforate. Yeah, he's got grit. Of course, you get grit with the sweep. For anybody that doesn't know, grit basically means that the attack is unstoppable. And in a sweep, that's so incredibly important because you usually utilize that to either get out or burst your opponent down. If you get stopped in the process, all of a sudden your entire combo falls apart before it even started.
Yeah, and that skewer going to be very useful as well because you can apply so much extra damage with the bleed, going on with deep wound, going on with follow through. Look, Gank are going to come out here and they are going to do their utmost to get this done in 2. They don't want to have to go the distance. That's a very, very tough matchup for 2.5 men. Let's see, how are they going to be able to take this one back? Rawbury chasing down the healer right now. Skoom doing his utmost to defend his healer. Very, very important tactic. You must defend your healer, but you have to defend yourself as well. Whoa, down to 100 hit points. Manages to escape. Gets that potion dropped. My word, that was close.
You can see how great Gank are at staying together, all getting up into the mix now. The Oblivion pop to Falzar. He could be in a world of trouble, but Airline's already falling. That's the healer. Gon, you quickly need to get someone down because you don't have too much left. You've only got DPS, and it looks like this is another round win for Gank.
Oh, my goodness. There goes Skoom. Let's take a look. Rawbury chasing down that last player, and there goes Pengu. Another round win for Gank, who are just going from strength to strength.
Gank are looking in... Wait, hold up. We might... Am I reading this wrong? 2.5 men apparently won the first round?
No, I think that is... Yeah, it's very confusing the way that the score bug works. I got confused with that a little bit early on as well. But we are now viewing the healer, 420 Airlines, and making good use of that flesh there. That was that spinning move that you saw him use, the rapier, allowing him to escape after being attacked, being cornered. He's just dodging continuously right now. He has to escape. His teammates taking care of him, and now he's able to heal them while they get stuck in. Perhaps a little bit cheeky there with that flesh through another player to escape, but he has to get back around and start offering some healing. Skoom suffering there a little bit in his absence, but all 3 players back up looking very, very strong. Cheeky Flesh again there. He's using that rapier so well to escape when he needs to.
And Valves are continuously exerting the pressure on them, but he's managing to dodge out of it every single time. And now they're all going to go convert on that healer. Still managing to section himself off, and that's exactly what has been going wrong. They've been focusing on the healer, and then as soon as they catch them all out of position where Gank still stays together, that is where they strike. Scoob currently getting low on health. But let's get into this fight as Falzar. He's going to be the playmaker. Carrick's already getting rid of Scoob, and that is the DPS gone. Ice Doom for Pengu, but I don't think it's going to last him too much longer. The healer still alive, of course, but in a 2-on-3 and with such a strong team, Gank, I can't really see this going wrong.
It's going to be a rough one. They're trying so hard. Pengu, a lot of fortitude, just resilient right now. Stood in the middle of 2 Oblivions. 1 for each team, no doubt.
2 and 2.
2 on 2. They do manage to take down a player. And this just leveled out very quickly. Pengu chilling in his Ice Tomb right there. 420 Airlines struggling as he gets stuck in that ice storm, but he has managed to escape. Needs to really get out quickly because this could be him down. Oh no, there goes the healer, and it's a 2v1 now.
Nothing that Pengu is going to be able to do. I can't see his chances being too great here, but perhaps he's able to charge through to the depths and actually get that the Entomb. That's going to get rid of the debuffs, but honestly, no, he went out early, so we won't be able to do anything. He's got an Ice Blast going on there, or an Ice Storm rather. He can't step into the flames, and they're just sectioning him off. I don't think there's any chance. No reprieve here as they're putting on so much damage, so much pressure, and Gank indeed do win the round.
What a performance there out of Gank. They got it over the line, but real signs of life from 2.5 Men. They are in a very difficult spot here. If they lose this next round, they are out of the tournament, and Gank will be going through to the grand final. Big pressure on both sides here.
They have to make it work. Their backs are against the wall. This could be the final round. Sacred Ground going down right on top of Pengu. Scoom already right into the mix of it. 2 Ice Storms landed. They try and evade it to the best of their ability. Rawberry getting aggressive into the Oblivion, quickly gets on out of there. But Gank, there yet again, putting on so much pressure, and due to the chaos, they are easily getting out of there, and they're not trailing down the players that are low HP.
I'm really enjoying watching Pengu actually utilize this Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet combination. About to crack out this Ice Shower when he switches back. But using that Void Blade to such effect right now, just doing so much damage. But it's not working. Falzar just eats the damage and continues. And now Health Potion, not a great time to use it. The Entomb coming in clutch there allows him to escape with his life. That was close.
Oh, that might just be the end of Airlines, and that's exactly the difference. Indeed, Airline goes down. That's the healer taking off the cards, and what's going on right now is that 2.5 Men, they're doing the solo work heavily. But they might just be able to get down. Rawberry, only a slither of health left until he's able to escape. But still, this is not looking great for 2.5 Men. Rawberry, yet again, incredibly low, and that's actually the end of Rawberry. Pengu getting rid of him, and now they just need to hold on. They've actually gotten a chance. Scoom and Pengu.
Unbelievable. 2v2 right now. Incredibly tense stuff. No healer left for 2.5 Men. Pengu and Scoom are going to have to fight this one out alone.
Falzar!
They failed Falzar, and now it's a 2v1. What are they going to be able to do? Carax.
Oblivion.
Trying to use that rapier to good work there, but there he is. He's accepted his fate.
Yep.
And they've cornered him, pushed him up against the wall and taken his life. That is vicious from 2.5 Men.
And what they've done differently on the side of 2.5 Men is that they actually started to pop off, all converging on that one player. Instead of all diverting into different areas, they went on that one player, burst him down, get him out of the game, but now you're still not there. You need 2 more to keep yourself alive. Your back is still very much backed against that same wall as the Ice Gauntlet. They are popping through there.
They're trying to take down Rawberry first again. I think that worked nicely for them last time, and they want to repeat that strategy, but they are still series point down. Gank win this round, and they are through to the grand final, so pressure still massively on 2.5 Men here as we watch Falzar really going for it with this Void Gauntlet.
doing exactly what he's been doing the entire way through. Nuisance play on Airlines, but they're now stabbing them in the back. That deals some extra damage as well here. There's some potential to crit, but they're keeping their eyes on the prize. The healer now managed to escape. Pengu doing an immaculate job at keeping his team in this together with Scoom. They've now got Rawberry locked up, but the HP getting low, and Scoom has to skedaddle on out.
Yeah, Scoom needs to be really careful here. He's already used his potions, and there he goes. It is very bad right now for 2.5 men who are a player down, and their healer is not far behind. 420 Airlines unable to escape, and a 3v1 failing a miracle. We'll see 2.5 men ejected from the competition. That is a shame. They almost had that fight back, but it was just too much to be done. Give it up for Gank, the winners of the semi-finals and our first grand finalists.
My, oh my, they've been able to perform. They've stepped up to the plate, and I think we gave a lovely little taste of what this esport can be like. There's so much pressure. There's a lot going on. But once you actually start to understand it, it is brilliant at its finest.
Yeah, that is beautiful stuff and incredibly engaging. A thriller of a watch right there. 2.5 men, the team to watch out of the competition right before the final hurdle. They fall in the semi-finals. I mean, they're already... That is Gank through to the grand finals. One series between them and San Diego.
We are noticing very similar lineups being used every single time. So there's certainly a meta going on. There could be a meta breaker as well at the same time. Perhaps that is the strategy against Gank. But my oh my, we're not going to be seeing the stare anymore because that's 2.5 men gone.
Great sportsmanship there from 2.5 men as they walk off. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic sports. We've loved having you here. Thank you so much.
But that was beautiful. This is what I've been waiting for, because of course that first one, with the breaks, with everything, it brings away from it. It takes away from how good this actually is to watch. And now we finally know what it's like, and I can only hope for more.
It's just so much fun to watch. It's making me itch to get in there and play it as well. I really want to try out some of these abilities. I want to test my metal, because you see people playing it, and you're like, that looks good. Oh, but he should be doing this. Oh, maybe, come on, you've got to throw up an entomb there. I want to get in there and try it out for myself. Come on, let me play.
It's one of them ones where you really want to play now, but as soon as you get into it and you're not as good as those players, it gets dreadful. But you know what, Elliot? I'll give you some time to actually go to a PC, play some new work, because we're going to cut to a short little break. But after that, we are back with the grand final. One last roar from the crowd, but we will see you back in the grand final in a bit.
Welcome back, TwitchCon Amsterdam. Give us a wave. Hyperia has given you 2 there. Come on, 2 for the price of 1. I heard that woo. Thank you very much. Oh, my word. What a performance we have seen from these teams all the way through this tournament. It has been sensational, but 2 remain.
Yep, and that's the grand final. The winner.
Only one.
The bloody winner of this. Imagine, you're currently playing. You're either going to be getting some swag. Okay, that's great. You know, you get to deck yourself out a little bit. The winner is going to go to San Diego. Flight paid for, hotel paid for, TwitchCon ticket paid for. There's so much on the line.
It's unbelievable. Let's take a look at the bracket and see how these playoffs shaped up. We had 2.5 men on stage, crowd favorites immediately, demolishing Newbies and going into that semi-final to get tanked by Gank. Unbelievable performance out of Gank there. They made 2.5 men look like the worst team, and 2.5 men were very good.
It's ridiculous. And both of those semi-final matches were a sweep. They did not feel like sweeps in the slightest. So incredibly close, and such a display of skill on both ends. 2.5 men and Uncrowd Legends, they still get to face off for some of that extra swagger that third place gets. But still, grand final, that is where you have to keep your eyes on the prize. I already heard someone from Bonzai being rather nervous.
Yeah, I mean, come on. This is something that would make me shake. I would be sweating. I sweat when I play in a ranked match of Rocket League. When I'm in ranked, no one's even watching, and I'm sweating.
Every 10 seconds, I have to put the controller down, wipe my hands off, get that going, get that rid. But I feel like the added pressure of there being such a big gap in pricing, what you get for getting second is non-comparable to what you get for winning this damn thing. And I'm so curious to see what's going to be happening. We already chatted to the players, but I'm seeing a spear and hatchet build there, I'm pretty sure.
Love to see that. Yeah, we've spoken to a few of the players about their builds, and we won't be saying anything just yet. No. But we can talk about individual weapons without bringing player names into it. And I think one of the things that has actually really stood out to me, aside from weapons, is how well Bonzai have been able to protect their healer. I went over and I watched the last round of their semi-final matchup, and the crucial turning point in their final round was their healer dropped to 100 hit points, and the other 2 saved them.
Yeah.
Just such good communication, such dedication to protecting their healer, and we are seeing that healer strat work a charm. So massive there, and Ice Gauntlets, going to be quite a participating factor in this grand final.
Yeah, we might see 3 of them, perhaps. The funny part about your entire analogy or your entire story is I was standing behind the opposition and I heard them scream, healer, healer, healer. They were so focused on it, and still they were not able to get it gathering around that healer, protecting it properly. And that's exactly what you have to do. We saw it in the previous round where they struggled purely due to Gank singling out that healer. That is the most pivotal part, being able to shut that down and remove the entire factor of the durability.
Gank will have their work cut out for them here. We saw them head-to-head against a very strong team in 2.5 men. They managed to make it through to the grand final, but they are going to be against yet another very capable team here in Bonzai. I've managed to watch them fight a couple of times now over in the LAN area, and they look very, very strong. I'm incredibly impressed with their communication and their teamwork. I can't wait for this. It is going to be a best of 5, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to see this run long, and I can't wait. These 2 teams deserve a full best of 5. I want to see this go the distance.
Yeah, and this is the healer. She's going to be doing the job of keeping the team safe. But I feel like she's taking a bit of a different approach. Instead of going full healing skill tree, also getting some of that protector. I saw a Light's Embrace in there as well. I feel like we can talk about it now purely due to everyone having their headsets on. And that also brings me to the point I want to bring up most. I'm completely skipping over that entire healing and protector stuff. Ice Storm. We're going to see a lot of them, but Ice Storm, very proficient, but the skill that makes Ice Storm good is not available right now. And they've been able to adapt on the fly, and that gives me so much confidence in them. They've chosen Ice Pylon over Ice Storm, which confused me at first, but they said Unending isn't a perk here. So that is the one that makes Ice Storm good. We're going Ice Pylon instead to crank up that pressure.
Yeah, so ordinarily, there are different builds based on what armor you have available to you, what jewelry you have available to you on your character. They all provide different perks, and obviously we have a limited setup here. There are not some of the perks the players are used to, and so the best teams are able to adapt on the fly, and as you so rightly point out, that is a really good mark for them moving forward, because if you can adapt that quickly in your preparations, then that gives you that skill, that ability to be able to go out and dominate in a fight where you're going to get against people who maybe that is the difference maker, right? Maybe you're just as good in the arena, but if you have that capacity to just swap one ability around to make use of the perks that you have available to you, margins are that fine when teams are this good.
And what they're going to have is an Ice Gauntlet, Void Gauntlet, an Ice Gauntlet, and a Healing Staff, or a Life Staff. That's both of them are running Ice Pylon. That's basically 5 people, 5 things firing projectiles at you, things that you have to take care of. Of course, the Ice Pylon only lasting 15 seconds, and it can be killed before that, but still, there's so much added pressure, and I feel like if you're able to exert that on the opposing healer, they're in for such a rough time. We might see an adaptation.
I just want to catch it there, because Ice Pylon ordinarily lasts for 15 seconds, but maxed out through its skill tree, that pylon refresh means that if it gets a successful hit, each successful hit extends its lifetime by 1 second. So every single tick is increasing it up to a maximum of 45 seconds, which is a tremendous amount of time inside the arena. It's such a quick fight. And that is, like you said, basically having an extra character on your team, just continuously laying down dangerous fire upon the enemies. What an advantage that is if you can utilize it effectively.
Yeah, and you can bet you're behind that they are going to be focusing those Ice Pylons as soon as they can. Get them off the board and have them re-utilize it. But my oh my, this is the grand final. It's the best of 5 in a best of 5. The first round coming up next, and TwitchCon Amsterdam. I feel like y'all have been really quiet, but before this grand final, I want you all to be a little bit louder, because come on, this is the grand final. New World Esport is starting here at TwitchCon. Make some noise!
Amazing. What an amazing crowd we have over at the LAN section of TwitchCon Amsterdam. This is where New World Arena, the esport, begins. You are witnessing the emergence of a new esport, and it is phenomenal. I have had so much fun. I'm having the best time, and we're about to see 2 of the best teams in the game go head-to-head to see who will be flying out to San Diego for TwitchCon. I mean, what a prize.
It kind of eludes my mind every single time, and it's like we've reiterated plenty of times, but every single time it makes it extra special. Gank versus Bonzai, and they've got 20 seconds to calm the nerves, to chat about what you want to chat about, because after that, it is going to be all focus.
We're going to be watching Rawberry here in round number 1 of this first fight.
Love that. The Spear Hatchet, Berserker combo as well. That's what we're used to seeing on the Hatchet. I feel like he's going to be the aggressive one in the Ice Pylon, already getting positioned and immediately taken down thereafter.
Yeah, fantastic work to neutralize that Ice Pylon. Ice Pylon going to be a big part of the strategy here for Bonzai. Great work with that spear as well. Ooh, the Impaler doing some good damage here, but needs to make sure doesn't leave himself in a vulnerable position. Oh, massive work there, Plodge, just about able to escape with his life.
Still struggling. They're putting up a ton of pressure. The Ice Tomb now in there as well. They're trying their absolute darndest, but everybody's still alive, so the healer's doing a great job, and they're quite beefy builds as well. We see almost 12k HP right here on Rawberry. he's not been putting out too much damage right here as he tries to get it in there. The sweep not quite landed, and Ice Piling now down. This is where you really have to start worrying. Ice Shower over the top. Ionian Blade, meanwhile, struggling, health potioning up, trying to get on out, but they're chasing him down, and that's the end of Ionian Blade.
Oh my goodness, that is the end of Bonzai's first round here in the first fight. I like this. We're still seeing the fight. Oh, sorry, I thought it was 3v1. It's not, it's 3v2. Forget what I was saying. They still have a chance, but Flodge has to survive, and there he goes. Igni, the healer, doing what she can, but goodness me, a 3v1 against a healer. This is just rude, to be honest with you.
Honestly, yeah, it is pretty rude, and the first round will be in favor of Pfizer Rawberry. They are replacing gems already, directly adapting, and this is exactly what we expect out of Bonzai.
Absolutely fantastic stuff here. Just mixing things up. We're watching Ionian Blade TC here with that Void Gauntlet, Ice Gauntlet combination. We're going to see an Ice Pylon go down. The enemy team, though, Gank just demolishing that pylon before it could get any amount of damage off. Fantastic work there to control that ability.
Meanwhile, all inside the Oblivion, there's now everything exerted at the same exact time. Robbery, meanwhile, falling. He overstepped his mark. Pludge, he already said what combo he wants to utilize, and he's been able to do that now. The Ice Pylon going down behind them. That's going to be rougher to take down. Carrix, meanwhile, will get him out of there with the flesh, gets him back in with the perforate, but Carrix, he's slowly but surely getting out. There's the combo that they're looking for every single time. The gavel over the top, and that's the end of the round.
Just standing in that Ice Shower. It was never going to be a good time for him. 3v1. That was a very quick round, and in favor of Bonzai. We talked about their ability to adapt on the fly, and my goodness, proving exactly what they're capable of. Going to return over to Gank here and watch Faelazar here in the third round of this first fight. Is a best of 5 of best of 5s. The Ice Pylon's down, and no one's destroying it too quickly. There we go. He got a little bit more damage off than usual. They want to be careful about grouping up, because we know that Warhammer on the Bonzai side so good at crowd control if you group up too aggressively.
Right there with the blunderbuss as well, utilizing it especially with a net shot. As soon as he oversteps, well, look at this, Ionian Blade getting whittled down inside of that Ice Shower. He does manage to finally get out. The petrifying screen does come back, immediately uses it. The Void Blade could be used as well, but that's the end for FF2E. Apparently, that's a brilliant name. The Ice Wind now as well, over the top. Shockwave there by Pludge, trying to amend this round, trying to get it back, but they're struggling so much in this 3-on-2.
Now he needs to protect the healer, and that is what his Warhammer build is about, making sure that he can come in and stun repeatedly, get that shockwave off, try and stagger some enemies, and just give Igni time to survive, get out of dodge, do what's necessary to then come back and keep him alive with those heals. And look at this, even as a 2-stack, doing such fantastic work. The comms are immense, but it's always going to be a very, very tough ride when you are 2v3 in such tight quarters.
And that's the end of the round again. They're immediately adapting every single time. As soon as something goes wrong, getting to 350 strength now. Did he not have that before? That could have been a big part of why it wasn't really working out. But they're making constant adjustment as soon as something does not work. But this could be the final round of the first part of the set.
Utilizing that blunderbuss, just poking the enemy team, just trying to get some damage away, waiting for the opportune moment to throw in the crowd control, letting loose there with some grenades as well, really adding in a lot of damage in a clustered up enemy group. That's why they need to be careful about where they end up in front of Plodge. Ionian Blade taking a lot of heat right now, but able to get himself out, get himself healed up. Igni doing great work there, keeping everyone alive. Karax doing likewise. That Ice Tomb just giving Ionian Blade slightly long enough.
Wrecking Ball hitting. He's got the net shot as well, saved up if he wants to get on out. But this is first to burst, and then immediately net shot, so he will apply 50% slow for about 7 seconds. Meanwhile, they are inside of that Oblivion, want to get on out. Grenade immediately utilized. They might just skedaddle. indeed they will, but not utilizing the next shot. Immediately, the armor breaker being pops, however. No person down just yet. Still an entire 3-on-3. The healer's doing an immaculate job. Sacred round landed. They are just continuing. This is the combo that he's been waiting for. The shockwave into the wrecking ball, but it doesn't do too much. The spells are just ice tombs to safety.
Really, really excellent work here by Bonzai. They're doing very well. Gank, I mean, I thought maybe they were going to lose a character there, but they are all back to full health. This is exceptional stuff here. A real masterclass in how two of the top teams will go head-to-head in the arena. We're coming close to that Ring of Fire, Hyperia. 14 seconds left on the clock before the Flames begin to encircle these 6 players. And then it won't be long before that crowd control really starts to come in handy. If they can get a player down before that, Gank would do very well too.
And the reason why, oh my god, Robbery, meanwhile, he's struggling. He's almost falling. He's still got a life left in him. The heal coming through at the perfect time. This is why you have to be aware every single time. Ioni and Blade falling, and Ploy is not doing too much greater, and that is the end of the round. The Ring of Fire was closing, and they did not pay attention to it.
Oh my goodness me. That turned around so quickly. It looked like Robbery was going down the drain, and then suddenly, in the blink of an eye, he's got health again. And it's Bonzai who loses the first player, and it really is just that quick. We see Gank take the first fight here in this best-of-5 grand final. What a performance.
I'm expecting to see one Ice Gauntlet go away, though. Because 2 of them, while you have 2 Ice Pylons, which is great because it does combine itself with, for example, net shot, slowing your opponent. An Ice Pylon will do 10% extra damage to slowed opponents. But 2 might just be a bit redundant, and just in general, you want that crowd control, and having 2 at the exact same time, you either have to spread them out and have immaculate team communication, which is rough when you're in the heat of the moment. So I'm expecting one of them to move away.
Yeah, it is very difficult, and it's team dependent as well, opponent dependent, which weapon you choose or which ability you choose to run with specific weapons. And Gank not standing for these Ice Pylons at all. They are just getting demolished the moment they're constructed. I think, look, if anyone can adapt, it's Bonzai. But I want to point out as well, just a human fact here, I suppose. Just something to consider is that Gank were on stage for their semi-final. They've already settled in to that pressure. And Bonzai, I know, were feeling very, very nervous about coming up on stage. It's their first series on stage, and it is the grand final. That is going to be playing a very big effect on their mentalities.
Oh, absolutely, and that's kind of sometimes why you want to take a bit of a reproach. Take a step back, find that reprieve, and make sure you get a nice little breather in, because if you get into the moment a little bit too much and trying to not make any mistakes, that is where it can get really scary. I might expect a Rapier to come in even instead of an Ice Gauntlet on that life staff, for example, is something we've seen earlier today as well. There's a lot of added pressure, and sometimes just a fresh start, just that mental reset, changing something around, even though it might not matter, it does in your head.
Of course it does, yeah. And if you can get your confidence back on track, then it means so much, because these teams are clearly incredibly closely matched in terms of mechanics, in terms of team play and ability, in their knowledge, their game-specific knowledge, and it comes down to mental fortitude in those situations. Who can manage the pressure better? Who can keep the comms good and clear? And who can keep their spirits high? Sometimes it just takes one person on a team to make sure they're continuously lifting everyone's spirits, encouraging people. When you lose, doesn't matter. GG, go next. You know, good game. And that one person can be the difference between a trip to San Diego or a bag of swag.
A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So as soon as one player falls out of the momentum, you can be in for a world of trouble, especially if, I mean, every single role is incredibly pivotal. If the damage dealer isn't doing the correct DPS, if they are not engaging in that CC, in the close combat, you can have all the heals that you want, you can have all the support that you want, but you're still not going to make it through. You can try and tank, you need to be working together as a team. And I wonder whether we're gonna see any switch-ups. That's the main part that I want to figure out.
I really am curious to see what kind of switch-ups we'll see, if any. Are players going to be changing abilities around? Or are we even going to see maybe some weapon changes? We've got a Rawbury with his spear-hatchet combination here. Nothing changing up for him. That is a classic combo at this point for this player.
Oh, the immense skewer directly there with the perforate, doing a ton of damage. Now in the ice shower, Pludge, he wants to get on out, use it. It is a dodge, but my oh my, this is a great start. Pludge, he still needs to escape, and it doesn't matter. Oh my goodness, Romer, he chases him down with that spear, shanking and shanking in the back.
Devastating, absolutely devastating. What a start here in this second fight for Gank in the grand final. And now a 2v3. Going to be extremely difficult for Bonzai to make this work. They're left with a healer and one of their DPS characters. I mean, just fantastic work to stay alive this long, but you can see the struggle here. Gank are so well organized, even in close quarters. Igni losing health rapidly here. They're focusing their healer as best they can, and down to maybe just a single hit point. There they go. Followed in close succession go the rest of Bonzai.
Well, let's have a look down the other end, whether they did actually swap. And that's still an Ice Gauntlet. That's still 2 Ice Gauntlets. They have not switched it around. And also the Warhammer. We did speak to him earlier. We spoke to Pludge, and he said, I might swap it out for the Great Axe, but he's still feeling confident. And sometimes you just need to have that confidence. Utilize it and just stay in the moment, but already a lot of chip damage done. They're poking right now, and they're struggling so much. The comms are going wild.
Yeah, fantastic work there. I'm really enjoying the use of this shockwave as crowd control out of Pludge. Oh, Rawbury very nearly dying there. And the last time this happened, it was an immediate switch around. Bonzai lost a player after that. It's not going to happen this time. Ionian Blade getting knocked to the ground there. Heals being drunk. Potions galore right now in the carnage of the arena. This is absolute chaos.
He's not got the burst anymore on Pludge. It does evade a nice hit out of Rawbury. He will get on out. Ionian Blade, he's left straggling behind. That's a brilliant Wrecking Ball over the top, but he doesn't have anything to back it up. The Shockwave only just coming through, but that's a brilliant stun. No, it's Shieldbreaker just yet to get that extra DPS, and Fells are already up to full HP, while Pludge is struggling so much and getting whittled down.
Just jumping out of the action momentarily before it dives back in. That Shockwave, we're going to get ready for it again. There it is. Lovely, lovely work there to stun a couple of the Gank players right there. Faelazar struggling a lot here. And Faelazar kills Ionian Blade, but is he going to be taken back out? No, he's not. He has survived, and that is very, very bad news indeed for Bonzai.
Faelazar, he has to be one of the standout players here for Gank. Every single time in the previous round, focusing out that healer and giving them a chance. This is not technically over, even though it's looking dire, and with the stamina running out, especially then, it's just going to be curtains. There's a healer left with an Ice Gauntlet and a lot of hopes and dreams.
Yeah, this is a rough one here. Igni staying alive as long as she can. A cheeky little entomb there just to finish things off, but there is only one result from a 3v1, and there it is. An unceremonious death.
I like the try, though, because it's one of those ones where if you somehow manage to get the burst, in whatever way, if you manage to catch one of them off guard, you are the healer, so you do have that survivability, and perhaps playing around the fire gives you a chance. But we're going to be looking at this live staff together with the Ice Gauntlet. See how she positions herself along the pitch. My oh my, the Ice Pilot's already happening. They're going to quickly be taken off the map as well.
We're seeing continuous cluster-ups and melees developing at the top of the steps. I haven't seen much of that before. Players tend to want to utilize the expanse of the arena, and especially you see a lot of play around the pillars, but we're not seeing that here, and it's really not helping Bonzai, I don't think. They're struggling when it comes to these all-out brawls that are developing, and losing Pludge, that's a huge loss here for Bonzai because he does so much work with the crowd control. Yeah, shortly falling afterwards, Ionian Blade, and down goes Igni for a 3-0 loss in the second fight.
That's a rough one, and at this point, we were not necessarily expecting fully the change around in weaponry. I'm expecting it now because this time it evidently did not work. I feel like they were less of a contender than in that very first round, so perhaps they're able to swap something around and catch them off guard, because that's another factor of having everything available to you right at the cusp. You can catch your opponent off guard for at least the very first round, and that could be enough momentum to carry you through.
But what do you change? I mean, we have to change out one of those ice gauntlets, right?
Yeah,
or at least the ice pylon.
I'm still saying rapier because everything is so clustered up. Something like a riposte where you're invulnerable for 1 second and it will immediately counter and then stun your opposition for 2 seconds.
And you put that on the healer.
Exactly, yeah, you put that on the healer as soon as they're in trouble. I mean, you might put it, I don't think you put it with a Void Gauntlet, to be fair. So I'm saying, Igni, change it around, just why not?
Give it a go. I mean, look at the concentration on her face right now. Healer extraordinaire, doing her best, but goodness me, this is going to be a tough act now. They have to reverse sweep in the grand finals on stage at TwitchCon Amsterdam. What a performance we have seen out of these teams.
It has been a splashing one, but it is a best of 5. And Gank, they're already up by 2. There's so much going on right now, and they're struggling a lot down the opposite end at Bonzai's camp. There needs to be a switch up, perhaps even mirror the lineup of your opposition. What can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah.
It's so difficult, right? You have to make so many decisions on the fly, and they don't have that long, right? In between rounds, you've got like 15 seconds, and in between games, you've got a couple of minutes max to consider so many variables, to consider what weapons are they using, what abilities are they using, how can we counter them, how does that work within our comp? So many different factors, all lining up in this complex web. I'm so impressed with all of these players, regardless of win or lose.
This is what I mean. This is why I suggested the rapier. Let's have a look at the healer in this very first round, because their healer is running the life staff and rapier combo, and there's no changes on anyone on the field here. So I wonder how they're going to pull through, what they're going to change internally to try and make this one work.
And we're seeing Gank try to force this stair play right here, trying to force them to one end of the arena where they can pin them in and just start whittling them all down. And I really feel like Bonzai has to start escaping from this, start spreading out the play. Even if you don't necessarily want it to fit your game plan, just to be disrupting your opponent's game plan when they are consistently beating you is definitely a step in the right direction.
Pludge getting on now, and the healers are being left alone entirely. It's just Pludge, it's just the heavy hitters right in the center dealing all the damage. Meanwhile, the healer's down the side, and the rapier hasn't even been utilized. So I guess in that regard, the ice gauntlet might be a little bit more utilized. The ice pylon directly taken off of the field. There's an ice shower directly landed. Rawberry and Falazar getting on now and making sure that they can stay healed. The sacred ground also there underneath and helping the teammates.
That orb of protection doing so much work as well, because it's doing 146% weapon damage to the enemies on its way through, healing teammates. And when you're all clustered up like this, that can be a difference maker, because you're hitting so many people on both teams and doing so much damage and healing simultaneously. That was incredibly close. Ionian very nearly bit the dust.
Oh my goodness, Ionian Blade, and this is going to be such a rowdy one. I feel like everything is going to pop off. Those abilities are starting to come back, and let's have a look. Let's have a gander inside the battle itself. Now board with Falazar. Ionian Blade, who is almost fallen, and just Ice Tombs in the nick of time, but he might not be able to get away. He's going to get chased down, and Eve Rawberry will convert on Ionian Blade. Yet again, another favorable position here.
Yeah, this has got to be the end. Yeah, there goes Plodge and Igni. It's just a matter of time now. The stand-alone healer falls to her knees. There is the end of the first round here in this third and potentially final fight
for San Diego. But every single time that some little extra element is added into the mix, Bonzai seems to completely lose the plot and they get lost in the thick of it. Gank, they have been showing up here. This is phenomenal to watch them playing yet again with the healer. Honestly, I kind of want to stay on board with anybody into the fight, as we are on board with the Ionian Blade, the first one to fall in the last round. But let's see what he can do with that Ice and Void Gauntlet.
Yeah, utilizing that Void Blade up close in the melee, and there goes Falazar. That's a massive, massive take there for Bonzai. They need to make sure Plodge stays alive here, and they have done effectively. That's going to be massive. Rawberry losing hit points rapidly here, getting stuck in the middle of an ice storm as well. Really, not ideal. This is going to be Rawbury down, surely. No? Is he not? He's escaped somehow. Absolutely phenomenal. But moving swiftly onto the healer, we're seeing Ionian Blade really do well in the thick of it.
They're just poking right now, getting that healer out and having Rawbury needing to back up a Carrot. That's just not possible. Meanwhile, they're holding on for so incredibly long. This is still possible. If you manage to get a quick burst on either the healer or one of the players in the thick of it, Pludge, he was knocked down for a second, but he's shockwaving or he's doing that combo. Not quite landed it. Still, this is so incredibly close, and as soon as that Ring of Fire, that's the extra element that Gank could be waiting for to come back into this round.
Yeah, trying to make good use of that Oblivion, and we're going to see him drop it here again. Trying to keep Rawbury inside the radius of that Oblivion. Deals weapon damage to the enemy and grants him power to your team. So a massively important ability to be dropping in the thick of these really intense fights. I can't believe this is still 2v3 here. Rawbury managing every single time it looks like he's going to drop to get his health back up.
But this does speak volumes, right? You can see that they just lack the DPS to get two players down. Their heals are enough, and Rawbury now getting on out. Shockwave into the Wrecking Ball, perhaps. No, not quite. Rawbury, he was sweeping away with that spear. I still can't imagine this lasting too long, but they've been holding on for so long, and as soon as you step into the flames, that is still a worrisome position for Bonzai. They can't let up the pressure here.
Petrifying Scream going out there, and the Void Blade is doing work in the center of this Ring of Fire. Fantastic stuff here. Ionian Blade and Plodge both dropping down to half health here. They need to focus on Rawbury here. Rawbury inside that Oblivion.
Sweep.
Struggling.
Perforate.
Karak's going to get caught in the Ring of Fire if he's not careful here. And essentially what we need to see is Bonzai hold on for dear life, because the Ring of Fire is going to kill the two before it kills the three. And
that's it.
Karak's surely going to go here. Surely going to go here.
No way.
How
what is going on? So many flames.
We've got it.
Yeah.
It's one. That's it. Rawbury in the middle of that fire. That could not have gone any longer. It can't get closer than this. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. TwitchCon Amsterdam. This grand final is really starting to heat up.
And they're coming alive on the side of Bonzai. They now know what works, but they are still struggling with DPS. That you can't just have it as a one-off. The Ring of Fire helping them close the gap entirely, but they're going to be more aggressive this time around on the side of Gank. Rawbury immediately converting on the Ice Gauntlet and Void Gauntlet player. But Ionian Blade does manage to get on out. I feel like Rawbury, he's got such a great damage output with that spear.
Yeah, Fialazar is very, very dangerous as well. If they can take him out early like they did last time, that is going to be huge. But it's such a big ask. Every single one of the players in the arena right now doing so much work, so critical. That's a huge drop there from Plodge, making such good use of his Warhammer. Igni trying to get in amongst the action here. And we've got Plodge and Ionian focusing up on Fialazar, but Plodge needs to be careful because sometimes he drops down and they can't risk losing his Warhammer.
Bonzai, they are continuously panicking. Their comms are incredibly unclear. But Plodge, he manages to catch Fialazar off guard. Rawbury might be quick to follow, but this is exactly what happened the previous time around. And perhaps Gank have learned out of the moment.
And Gank know that they cannot just play defense right now. They have to even the score. They have to level up the playing field, because they can probably survive till the end of the round, but that's not going to help. The Ring of Fire will close, and that's always going to favor the team with more players. How do you bring down a player 2v3, though, especially when they're playing as well as Bonzai are right now?
And they're already converting to the center. They might just think that this is going on long. Rawbury, he's getting bursted down, though, quickly gets on out. He's still getting chased down.
There he goes.
The Void Gauntlet, and that is the end. Carrots, this time it won't be as long. And they're getting closer and closer on the side of Bonzai. They just need the one more to close this one out.
Goodness me, they are series point down, and they were one round down in the third fight. It looked like all was lost. And here begins the fight back. The Cinderella story from the hardest possible position. Are they going to be able to reverse sweep here in the grand final? Well, it starts with winning a fight, and they are just one round away from doing so. Let's see how they hold up here, and let's switch over to the other team, who are also running this Void Gauntlet, Ice Gauntlet. Let's see how Fealazar stacks up against the same as we were just watching from the other side.
The Entomb coming in handy, and that's exactly why you run into him in pretty much every single Ice Gauntlet. It gives so much survivability when you're in the thick of it. Look at that, so much in the thick of it there. Ionian Blade struggling, but Pludge quickly getting his health back. Ionian Blade still below 50%, and that's a dangerous one. He needs to gain that HP back, but he's just struggling. The stamina is there to at least dodge on out. That's exactly what he's done. Now returning the damage on Robbery, dropping to 4K, but the Entomb yet again giving him the survivability. And my oh my, they just are not willing to die.
Going full Annihilation skill tree here on this Void Gauntlet. Petrifying Scream, Void Blade, and Oblivion all being put to great use here in this close quarters combat. We're seeing so much in this grand final. We haven't seen anything space out at all. These players just want to be in each other's faces, and oh, that Ice Tomb broken very, very quickly indeed. Fealazar just trying to get away from it a little bit. The team stacking up on him. Bonzai know that if they take out Fealazar, that is the beginning of that house of cards being crumbled, but Plodge has dropped. Ionian Blade not far behind, and Bonzai are surely going to lose another round here, and that's going to send it all the way through to the final round of Fight 3.
Fight 3, and this is Bonzai's last chance. They have to make it work. They need to pull through if they want to keep their chances of going across the pond all the way into America and go to another TwitchCon. Basically have the second one lined up. Bonzai, it's do or dying crowd. Give them a bit of energy.
Give it up for Bonzai. Come on, give them all the noise that you can. They need your help right now. If they lose this round, they are out of the grand final. Gank trying to make sure that they close it out here, but the pressure is on both teams. You wouldn't know it, though. The nerves not really appearing at all visibly to us. Robbery losing a lot of hit points here is surely. Did Robbery not just die? That is absolutely insane. I don't understand how he has managed to survive. Robbery on just being chased down here continuously, but he's still alive.
He just keeps on being alive.
He's an absolute maverick. How is he doing this?
This is ridiculous. Every single time that shockwave is landed, he falls down. He's stunned for 2 seconds, but he still manages to survive time and time again. It is ridiculous. They're going to be diverting their gaze on Fealazar. He's a more interesting target. Robbery, meanwhile, puts him into the mix with that perforate. And the skewer there to back it up, but now taking a bit of a back step, and there's a tiny bit of a breather. But that burst damage coming through from the shockwave and the blunderbuss is showing up here. So much damage output in such a short amount of time.
Fealazar at the top of the steps getting focused by Plodge here, and Plodge is going to look to use that blunderbuss to try and create some damage to the crowd as they gather up on the steps. Good little shockwave there. Getting some stuns away. Fealazar needs to be careful if they manage to successfully corner either Fealazar or Robbery. Oh no, there goes Ionian Blade. That's made this so much more difficult already for Bonzai.
This could be the end of it. Shockwave at least landed, but Robbery, he's still much survivable. And this could be the end of the road here. Bonzai, their end is nigh. Can they continue the story? Can they write another chapter? It does not look to be the case. They're standing still, and Gank, they will be going to San Diego to another TwitchCon. Give it up for the team that just won a ticket to San Diego.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the inaugural TwitchCon Amsterdam New World 3v3 Arena Open, Gank. Woo! Absolutely unreal. Absolutely incredible performance. Let's have a round of applause for Bonzai, please. What a performance it was from them. Make some noise for Bonzai. What a fantastic fight. That went the distance there in Fight 3, and oh my goodness, I thought they pulled it out.
I thought so too. Getting that 2 straight, I was already thinking about the reverse sweep, but we didn't even get one. And yet another sweep in state, and that's where you can see the skill gap still very much exists, even when all these players involved are so skilled, are so experienced in this game already, and it's only going to be more. I don't think you're loud enough!
Give us the wave.
There we go.
Up on screen. Hello to our LAN crowd.
Ah.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have. My goodness. Absolutely outstanding. Hi, Furia.
Oh,
I need to breathe.
I feel like
I need a minute to myself.
the inaugural one, it's one of the best ones already. I mean, to be fair, it's the inaugural one, so it has to be the best one. And at the same time, the worst one. But this says so much about what this esport can become. There's so much hype. There's so much going on every single time, especially Rawberry. You think he's gone, but no. He's still got an ice to him. He's still got whatever left in his arsenal to keep himself alive.
I was absolutely convinced in that final fight that Rawberry was gone. Do you know what? That's robbery.
Why'd you have to end it on this note, Matt? Come on. I mean, to be fair, when he got rid of Ionian Blade, I thought it was the other way around. I thought Rawberry, okay, finally Rawberry ends up in the grave. But no, never. He evades that 6 feet deep, taps a toe into it every single time. Directly jumps on out. What a spectacular esport this is.
Unbelievable. Let's take a look at the bracket one last time to see how it finalized itself, how it crystallized here with Gank making their way through the only team to actually take a round off of them. I mean, that is very, very impressive.
Yeah.
2.5 men getting ejected in that semi-final. Bonzai on the other side of things, taking their way through Firewater Tavern and Uncrowned Legends before facing off in the grand final, where we've seen Gank in a clean sweep that certainly did not feel like a clean sweep.
It was so incredibly close the entire way through, and I feel like this is I know this is the perfect start to get people more engaged into that arena. Time and time again, people have been wanting to PvP, and now it's finally here. We can get that going.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here at the LAN stage of TwitchCon Amsterdam. We are going to be talking to Gank coming up in just a moment because we couldn't let them leave without an interview. And of course, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Rawberry. Thank you so much for joining me backstage. What a pleasure it is.
Thank you so much.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great, really, because it was a really long trip for us, and we were planning it for like over 2 weeks, and we were like practicing together and really figuring out how do we play the meta and how do we evolve as a 3v3 team and how do we finally can consistently beat like the best of the best teams. Like Bonzai is like really no joke. Like they're from Daichi, literally the best PvP server on the world basically, and they did really fine and they have a really good team, and it is really remarkable that we managed to beat them.
It's absolutely sensational. I mean, you guys did such a good job. And you said that you were preparing for a fortnight leading up to this, right? Did you actually make any adaptations on the day? Because we know that it's actually been quite crazy with all of the comps that people were playing. Did you change it up at all, or did you just stick to the game
we did.
plan?
Because apparently we didn't know, so nobody of us has a clue which gear we are getting on the TwitchCon, basically.
Yeah.
So we were just sitting down at the LAN and opening the caches, and we all of a sudden got gear, some of them questionable, like we had no Putrefying Scream, for example, which is a 30% disease, very important healing reduction. So we instantly figured out healer is really broken in this tournament, and we have to play around it. We have to play like light healer, and then we can basically just face tank and clump anything we want, because there's no healing reduction on us, but there's also no healing reduction on the enemy. So we need like the Fortify and the Rend on the enemy in order to make that difference. And I think that difference made us the win.
And you know what? I think it's so brilliant, right? Because obviously, you know, from a player's perspective, you come in and suddenly the perks you're not used to aren't there. And that's a bit frustrating, but it forces the best players to the top, because they're the ones who are able to adapt on the day to be able to do that and take it out and realize, look, we're not going to be able to use this. We can't use Petrifying Scream anymore. We've got to mix this up and make it different. And something else I want to touch on, right? We saw, usually in the arena, we're seeing fights that, generally speaking, we have clashes and teams pull apart, and they clash and they pull apart, and people are running around the pillars, and there's a lot of chasing going on. But with you guys, we noticed that you were continuously forcing the fight up to the stairs. Was that an intentional choice to try and really keep it in this locked-in environment?
Yeah, I already explained, like, clumping is really good on this tournament meta because healing is busted on this tournament, basically.
Yeah.
And no putrefying scream, no disease whatsoever, no disease resources, so there's no anti-heal. We can just rent the enemy, fortify ourselves, and beat the enemy while having not much trouble, unless we're getting, like, bursted as stars.
Yeah, I mean, there were some times there, and you specifically, like, we were losing our minds backstage because the amount of times, even in that last fight, where you were in the thick of it, and it looked like you had 1 hit point left, and the team was attacking you, and we were like, Robbery's down. No, he's not down. No. How did you keep surviving in those clutch moments?
Well, I guess I had a beast healer.
Oh,
like, shout out to Carix. He isn't even a main healer, so he adapted for this tournament, and he did really good. So shout out to Carix. And he definitely did carry us pretty much, I guess. Because if he didn't adapt to healer, then we would be here in the tournament today, and we would like, oh, healer is pretty broken. But nobody of us had practiced healer, so what are we doing? But Carix went instantly ahead, like without me or Felazar even asking for him, yeah, could you go please healer, or something like that. No, he instantly was like, okay, like 2 weeks before tournament, okay, instantly swapped healer. We instantly got into the 3v3 and practiced with him as healer.
No, fantastic team composition. You guys seem to have a really good synergy. Can we expect to see more from you guys in the arena?
Definitely. I hope we're getting to San Diego safe. And also, maybe they are hosting another PvP tournament there, and we could beat the best of the best in NA. I would really like that. See on what level NA plays, and have a good time there.
Well, I know some of the AGS people are outside watching. Look, you can see our faces on screen. We're asking you, we're begging you, please, bring us to San Diego and bring New World to San Diego as well. We want to see more of this. This has been so much fun. You know, I didn't start learning this game until literally just a couple of weeks ago, and it has been such a journey. I mean, look, you can see the amount of research we've been doing, that everything is so complicated, and I was just like, how are we going to be able to cover this in the heat of it? And part of the fun of it is how difficult it is, because it's been just a carnage. It's chaos in there. But how do you keep track of everything that's going on all at once when the rounds are just 2 minutes long and it's everything?
It is simple. Just play the game.
And you just develop that sense for it.
Exactly. Like, when you play the game, you learn the game, and when you understand the game, you can actually do something. When somebody gives you like tournament gear and you figure things out, you can adapt, and when you adapt to that, you can win.
Absolutely outstanding. You have been a pleasure to talk to, Rawbury. Ladies and gentlemen, please, can we have a cheer? Can we have a round of applause? Rawbury from Gank, him and his team are going to TwitchCon San Diego.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of TwitchCon, and I look forward, I hope, very much to seeing you in San Diego.
I'm also looking forward. Also, I want to shout out.
Please.
Gank, Beast Company, thanks for your support, and I hope we're going to conquer Daichi.
Any more shout-outs? Your mum, your dad, anyone at home?
Well, I hope my brother is watching. I'm pretty sure my mom and my dad isn't, because, well, why would they? I didn't even tell them that I am going to a TwitchCon.
So they have no idea, and you've just won tickets to San Diego?
Well, I'm living my own life. Like, why would my parents care, right? I mean, they probably do care, but why would I tell them?
That's amazing. You're just going to call them up afterwards, be like, Mum, Dad, pack your bags. Well, you're not going, but I'm going to pack my bags.
I will eventually tell them that I am going to the States, because I always like dreamed of going to the States. I mean, for this time, it's like a short weekend, like, but it's going to be great. Like, it's going to be a very good weekend, and going to be in San Diego, going to the TwitchCon, hopefully going to the tournament again, and playing some New World, meeting some people.
Sublime.
Enjoying the wind.
Thank you so much, Rawbury. Once again, Rawbury, ladies and gentlemen, Gank are the winners of the first ever. That's the TwitchCon Amsterdam New World 3v3 Arena Open. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have enjoyed this as much as I have. It has been a pleasure, a dream come true to cast such an amazing game, such great developers, such a great community, such wonderful players, and a fantastic co-caster, Hyperia, right now, just talking with the rest of the winning team. Can't contain his excitement, but that is all we have time for here today on the LAN stage. Thank you so much for joining us, and make sure that you tune in again tomorrow because we have 8 hours of action from a different game, from Team 17. It's going to be Marauders all day, and you do not want to miss it. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.